After lunch. 12 to 2 or 3.
All right, welcome, welcome. We are 3 minutes behind schedule. I do apologize. That is on me. We had a class in here right ahead of us and we weren't able to get things moving fast enough. So welcome to day 2 of Ignite. Today's topic is embrace your job. And we are welcomed again by the most gracious Amy Hunsaker Williams. I've heard nothing but good things about you. Today she's going to talk about a few other things, like daily successes. One of those daily successes is handwritten cards. So I will be the one bringing your handwritten cards down before the end of class today. And you only get new handwritten cards when you give me your handwritten cards, and I will mail them off for you. That's part of Ignite, okay?
Cool.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Amy's also going to talk about accountability today and a couple other things. That is the glue of what holds this all together. Often is that accountability piece. You learn, and then you go from learning to doing, and then being held accountable to the goals you set. Fair?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I am gonna hand this over to you. You might want to tell them the time change today, and I'll be back about 1:30 or so. Time change, 12 to 3.
Okay, but you're coming back at 1:30?
Yeah, I'll be here about 1:30, just to check in.
Okay. Are you gonna bring Natalia down?
I gotta find her first.
Hey, is that a iPhone plugin?
I don't know, maybe. I don't have an iPhone, so I don't know what that looks like, to tell you the truth. Okay, who is ready to get started?
I am
Excited. I knew we were missing someone. I was like, there's a five missing. Okay, so this is embrace your job. So what she was talking about with accountability is that typically in Ignite, you choose an accountability partner or 2. So it could be groups of 2 or 3. And as you're doing your daily activities, you're reporting out to each other what you're accomplishing. Again, remember that when you choose accountability partners and you're reporting, that everybody's goals are different. So if one person says, I talked to 10 people today, and then somebody else says, I talked to 2 people today, keep in mind that our goal that we were trying to hit may be different from the other person. The point of it is just to make sure that there's someone who's holding you accountable and keeping you encouraged. The other piece of that is that you also have the opportunity to do some conversation practice and give each other feedback. So if you say, I had 2 conversations and one of them, was so uncomfortable, didn't really go the way I wanted it to. Okay, well, what did you say? And then you could practice that conversation over again so that the next time you feel more confident. So before the end of the day, we'll see how many people are on online, and we'll figure out how to set up some groups. Hold on. All right, so today we're on embrace your job. So again, this week I'm teaching spark your career, embrace your job, connect with your market, and define your value. In session 1, we discussed the value proposition of being part of Keller Williams. Today, in the second session of the Real Estate Expert course, Embrace Your Job, we will focus on the priorities of a real estate agent and discuss what it takes to become a great agent. So today we're really going to define what the job description is and the daily responsibilities of a real estate agent. I have a lot of people confess to me that, they've been a realtor for 2 months, 6 months, a year, and they still don't really understand what their daily job description is. And that's unfortunate because those people are also, they're not getting transactions, they're not having closings, they're not making a living because they've never had the appropriate training. So that's the goal, one of the goals of Ignite. Before we begin, let's hear about progress from the success system yesterday. Well, as we all know, we didn't have success system yesterday. Important note, let's see. Okay, so this is really going to be more for tomorrow. It's wanting to know kind of what your challenges were and what your successes were in your daily success activities. So we'll cover that tomorrow. Briefly cover the agenda and objectives for the day. So today we're going to talk about the 6 core competencies. Those are your job description. We're going to recognize your role as a fiduciary, and we're going to talk about the difference between a functionary and a fiduciary. So somebody who's strictly just performing the tasks, and the person who's actually acting as that guide, that counsel, who's walking someone through the process and advising them properly. And we're going to review the success system. We're going to recap and have ahas, and then we're actually going to take some time today to work our daily success system. So by the end of today, you'll be able to apply the 6 core competencies of a business, recognize your role as a fiduciary, review the success system. To start thinking about what you will learn today, let's consider what questions we might have and what we'd like to learn more about. So we're going to take just a couple of minutes, turn to the person closest to you, and write down some of the things that you would like to learn today or in general in Ignite. And by the end of today's class, we'll see what we can mark off and what we're still looking to learn.
Hey, Lily,
Take a few minutes.
turn this way. Hi. Sorry.
I heard the tail end of it. Okay, what do you want?
Right here. Yes. I'm good. I'm good. So anyway.
What?
Well,
I can move my bag if you want to move
I
it.
would like to learn how to be more efficient.
Obviously, I just started, so
I've been doing this for a while,
I'm kind of right there with you,
and
yeah.
I think I'd like to
I had to use the word ignorant.
fine tune my process.
That's the real definition, like you don't even know what you don't know.
So right, if you're trying to.
Since I do good
Yeah,
and
like the definition.
your schedule.
So,
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I am. In fact, I'm kind of crazy with my schedule, meaning like, even if I write down that like,
Generation for sure is.
clean the living room at 1 o'clock, you know, it says 1 o'clock on the calendar, I gotta get it done at 1 o'clock.
Whoa,
It's
really?
crazy, yeah, it's kind of weird like
I heard about the contract through the.
See, I'm not.
And so it
I'm
doesn't
like
say-
this morning I called, I had this appointment for Friday and then my
But
husband
on an
had
ongoing
eye
basis,
surgery Friday, so I called to reschedule. They say,
I
can
feel
you
like
come
what
right
I wanna
now?
get out of this.
I'm taking 2 more classes. My plan was to test, you know, do the CE. and
Yeah.
all that.
Team, like,
Okay, I'll be right over.
you know,
That
that makes sense. That's the
Yeah, but your
flow.
tooth is priority.
Oh, I don't know, but I would like to
What are
just
all the steps
learn
you
how
take
to
to
stick
get
in
in
the schedule.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's gonna be,
Number 2, what is the flow
it's
of
gonna
how
be
daily
kind of
life? Your life?
Mailing the cards,
so this whole thing.
I know.
like little postcards.
Yeah, it was
Makes you
nice
get, you know what might help
So when you first.
is, the one thing, you ever read the book One Thing?
Just some
Right,
grounding
In
there.
the back of the One Thing, they have this little
Exactly.
sign that says, no.
So,
No,
This is, yeah, so like at my home office where I live, you know, there's
So
a
you wanna
room,
learn specifically lead gen
you
functions?
know,
Is that what you were saying?
and this is kind of the living room,
Mhm.
and I lived there by myself for quite a while.
Mhm.
And then my son came home off the truck, so he's like 33, he came home for a while. Anyway, so my desk is sitting here, there's a ceiling fan right here, and there's an entrance to this room there. And he just come in and start talking to me, he's like, dude. So I took the sign out of the back of the book and put a string on it and hung it from the ceiling fan. It says, no, if I can't say no, maybe the sign will say it for me. So sticking to your schedule, maybe it's easier to say no.
Yeah.
But
that's hard
then,
for me.
here today, sometimes like the tooth appointment, the teeth appointment, the dentist appointment.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's things that kind of take priority.
Especially in medicine now that you call to make an appointment and say, you're from now, you know.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? So you want to stick to your schedule. And I want to be more efficient. Bills, bills.
We have a plan.
Yeah.
Starting.
You have little, nobody's using their, us two, we're the star people, your name's probably over there.
because I can't be here every day.
Yeah, it's getting a lot out of it yesterday.
Let's get you on.
It's cool.
Well, you can still sign up because, I'm sorry, guys.
Just come when I can.
Come when you can.
Yeah.
You can also do it online and it's recorded.
Yeah, I watched some of them from last time.
Oh.
I just feel like it's not the same.
It is like the
Shannon
same.
was, it's so good.
There you go. Sometimes that's the best thing to do when you're overwhelmed. I mean, really, it's like
And you have the opportunity to.
sleep is good.
Yeah.
You're right on the front and the
It'll
back, that way
be-
if something
you'll
comes in
do well.
behind you, they can see it too.
Especially because you want.
I saw that your house was under contract.
We made.
I came down
Clear
here
and
and
it was on 205, so
Yeah.
fine. Having trouble getting warm, but that's just fine. At least it's gonna be warmer today, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Double digits.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Everything she
Supposed to
did,
be
she,
30
he,
still.
whoever. I heard
I'm glad I
39.
took it in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No.
It's
So then it snow is gonna melt.
Right.
So you can become more efficient, because you do.
Do you live in Branson, Branson?
No, I'm actually further west, towards Cape Fair, Reed Spring.
So like, lives out of town, I guess?
Yeah, I think that's where, yeah.
So wild.
So there were things
Saw
that
Sherry doing, I haven't talked to her. in a long time. She was- last time I talked to her, she was trying to figure out if she really wanted which direction she wanted to go.
Yeah, I love it.
She's,
You know, they're doing some stuff with the school.
And so then.
By the lake?
We are 13 minutes from the Cape Fear.
He's like,
You could see the lake
It's
from
hard
our
to- I mean,
rooftop if you were on it.
I know that
Yeah.
You have it
one
fall
can
through.
do it in the.
before, right?
It's hard for me to-
Twice.
hard for me to
Even
picture
though he said yes to
driving
all
to
the
school.
inspections.
But it's close, yeah.
Yes.
It's like, wow,
Yes.
it's a lot of bus for one little
And
person.
so then I said, we need
So
to
some
just make, yeah.
Yeah,
she
she
told me
told
they're
us
asking
in
for the same
Branson.
She
thing.
was
Yeah,
driving the
just
school
make
bus and
repairs,
doing
get
other
back
stuff.
to close everything.
Only driving.
Did you list it
Gosh.
higher than what it was at
The,
before?
the,
So-
my,
It's a big decision.
In the meantime, people also replaced all the systems.
my client was leaving one
As we've been acquainted.
So she wanted to buy a house. So I bought a house for her, the very first house that I purchased.
Feeling my gut like this is the
And
one.
by
I
the-
hope so. It's a beautiful house. The person buying it is actually.
More like,
Conversation.
And they had two
Because I think like the biggest thing is
more like the-
color teaching.
But see, I was gonna work with you, whereas if you had, you make contacts to
One day
people.
I sold the house that I bought for her, I sold it.
I set the house up.
Yeah, yeah. We wanna protect our person, but- Well, I'm excited for you.
So to begin that.
Big lot.
We never really talked about that so much, because I think.
So who wants to share
What
what they want to learn?
My world, how.
I heard Holly say she wants to learn everything.
Just teach me whatever. I just need to learn it all.
I know Anne wants to learn everything. Mary wants to learn everything.
It's impossible.
All the things, it's impossible. It's impossible to learn everything.
Well, one of the things that came to me was the flow of a transaction from start to finish.
Absolutely. And I believe that will be that last section. The
That
four
we do?
the last week is getting into the transaction.
Oh, the last week of class. Okay,
Mhm.
great.
Yeah. And then also, if at any point, I have a spreadsheet that I use that, that has kind of like, you can also create, you could take my spreadsheet and you could
Everybody.
what am I trying to say?
Design it.
Configure,
Whatever. I knew what you mean. Reuse it.
I have said the wrong words all day today. You guys are just gonna have to bear with me.
Funny.
You can make that in Command, because remember we talked about how Command has customized checklists that you can make.
Oh,
So
no.
you could do that in Command, or you could just take the spreadsheet and, make your own copy and clear it out. But mine actually has everything checked off in a row, in the order that it goes in.
So you're talking like make a smart plan to fit it? Smart plan?
So you can do it as a smart plan, but you can also just do like a checklist. You can create
Okay.
custom checklists within your transactions, and you
Oh,
can
okay.
create a template, so you can copy it
Okay.
into each
Oh,
transaction.
nice. Okay.
Don't ask me how to do it,
Okay.
because,
So you made your own spreadsheet.
well, I didn't, I got it somewhere.
Right, there you go.
But over time, I have added to it so that I never miss anything, because I know exactly what's supposed to happen next. And every single day I look at it and I say, okay, on this transaction, here's where we are and here's what's next. Okay, is it time for that yet? Or is it not time for that yet? And then I can I just come back to it every single day for every transaction. I have a buyer tab and a seller tab.
Nice.
So I'm happy to share that at any point. I want to clear it out and kind of start your own. What else?
Can you
What do you wanna learn?
send that, can you send that to all of us?
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great.
And once you start doing the transactions, you create your own.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, you'll modify it and tweak it, yeah. I have one that I use, but I'd like to see yours and.
It'll be coming through Google Drive, so I'll send it, but then you'll need to make a copy for yourself, otherwise everybody will have access to it.
Hey,
That
you
makes
got my
sense.
client.
Okay, what else? What else do you wanna learn?
Just to be more efficient at what I'm doing.
Yes.
Follow a schedule.
So perhaps in order to be more efficient, we might create a schedule, we might do some time blocking, right? But then it's holding ourselves accountable to it. But also we could have a daily accountability partner that held us accountable to our schedule if we know that we can't hold ourselves accountable to it. Hey, what'd you time block yesterday? Did you stick to your time blocks? One of the things that I try to do is I time block for everything. It doesn't mean it actually ends up happening at that time, but if I have to put something else there, if I can't put two things at the same place. So I've got to take the one that was here before and I have to move it somewhere else in that day or to the next day. I don't just ignore it or cross it off or let it go. So that's one thing you could do. So, because in real estate, we know it's so hard to stick to a schedule because everything changes. You know, I talked this past week to our assistant. She is like, she wants everything like this. She wants her schedule to stay the same every single day. And it never can and it never will. And so that's one of the things that we kind of worked through was, okay, well, go ahead and do your time blocking so that you have your perfect ideal schedule. But then you also have to know that you're going to need to be flexible. If one of us comes in and says, oh my gosh, this just came up, I need this right now. You're going to have to shift that thing somewhere else so that we can do the thing that's urgent. What else?
You wanna share this one? Which one is it? Relate to your database, how to relate to your database.
So my area would be getting more comfortable with the digital technology side.
Okay,
When I did real estate 20 years ago, it was all pretty much paperwork. And now there's a lot of digital and technology involved in it. So getting into a place where I'm proficient and comfortable with that.
so with that would include, I guess, command
Yes,
and maybe some social media,
yes.
emails.
You have to do Facebook.
She's not answering that question.
We
I
have
said-
a classmate.
I suppose you do not.
Okay.
Instagram, do Instagram.
Instagram is better.
You're the Instagram generation.
Is that better?
Yeah.
I would love to be off of Facebook. I think I'd be happier every day if I wasn't on Facebook. But I will tell you that ultimately for me, that's where I connect with my sphere the most. And if I went back and I have gone back and I've tracked it where every transaction has ever come from and color coded it so that I know what percentage is coming from where, and my sphere is about 90 to 95%. But where am I connecting? How did that sphere, those people, how did they know that I got into real estate? If I'm not calling every single person 1,000 people. I'd have to call 1,000 people and say, did you know I'm in real estate? So most of them discovered that I was in real estate because I posted about it on social media. So no, you don't have to be on social media. But then you have to be willing to do something else to get the word out. So the phone calls, the texts, the emails, the handwritten cards, postcards, something like that. So everybody's gonna have it, we talked about that yesterday, everybody's gonna have a different way of doing things, and it has to feel right to you, it has to speak to you, it has to, it has to fit your personality style. But then also don't be afraid to try something new. Anything else? So we know then some of the things that we're concerned about, some of the things we want to learn about. What about what excites you? What excites you the most about being a real estate agent?
Just helping people. First time buyers, love it.
Helping people?
Yeah, I was gonna kind of say the same thing. It's very self-rewarding to empower people with the information they need to succeed. And then I also enjoy the twists and turns throughout each transaction and the problem solving and the deeper connections. Even sometimes getting the opportunity to pray for people and watch God work and build a testimony. Without having to be religious or, you know what I mean? Preachy or
Yeah.
the things that we can be as Christians.
Yeah.
But being more relational and more of a servant's heart. How can I serve you to achieve your goal?
Yeah.
And that's fun, and especially as you see people get excited and get that new home or get that next home or start to invest in real estate, start to see a return on investment. You know, whatever purpose you're playing, it's just fun to build relationships. I kind of get bogged down with all the other stuff. So at some point, I need to be bogged down because at some point, I'll be able to get out from under being bogged down by hiring an administrator.
Right.
Because I am not an administrator.
Right.
And that's my Achilles heel. And that's why I probably am not $1 million producer, even though I've been in the business 15 years.
So so we're talking leverage. I'm gonna put that back up with what do we want to learn about? Leverage. How do we get to the point where we can leverage? Okay. What else are you guys excited about?
I like the opportunity to build a business and also provide a source of income for other people. So like employing other people and building a business. And then just like I kind of said yesterday, what I can do with the income, how I can help people, help charities and help things that I believe in by donations and such as that.
I think you said the good you can do.
Yep.
Okay, what else?
I feel like, from what I can see, it's gonna be a situation that doesn't get boring, because I'll always be learning. There's always more to learn. It's an not ever changing, but every day is different.
Yeah.
Every transaction is
Yes.
different.
I was just gonna say.
You might grind your teeth to the gums though.
Some transactions you do not sleep.
Yeah.
Mary, what about you?
Trying to think of the verse I read this week. It was in Proverbs, and it's about leaving something for your kids' kids. And I feel like with this opportunity, I would be able to do that.
That's great.
Legacy.
I saw something in Instagram this morning, it said, don't leave dresses or shoes or bags to your kids, leave real estate.
Yeah.
I listened to, I thought about you guys yesterday when I listened to it. Craig Rochelle, Life Church, he did a sermon this past weekend on simplicity. And that's what it was about, was like, why are we all think that more is better and we want to consume. But, you know, we talked yesterday a lot about stewardship and, you know, being content with what we have and also making good use of the income that we're bringing in. Yeah. Anybody else? I'm kind
gonna bounce off him. I like the idea of being a business owner, and building something for myself as opposed to working to build something for someone else.
Yes.
Like I am in my current day job, but also I love that it's not a 9 to 5. That I can time block for my kids' gymnastics and then, whereas a 9 to 5 doesn't give me that flexibility. So I think just that like work-life balance, that is really hard to get with a 9 to 5.
But you also have to be careful because you'll be working 24/7 if you don't watch out.
Here's the difference. I was working last night. I'm gonna show some houses tonight, but it doesn't feel like work.
Right, and it's your choice. That, I think for me, that's the difference. When I work 9 to 5 or when I work for someone else, I have no choice. When I work for myself, yes, sometimes I'm working at times when others aren't, but that was my decision.
Right,
And
and
I-
that's because I got to take my kid to gymnastics earlier.
Right.
So now I have to time block that time, after dinner or whatever.
Next year, I'm gonna have a kindergartner. I'm gonna have a freshman in college and a kindergartner at the same time.
What were you thinking?
And I have to pick her up at 2:30 in the afternoon, which is.
And
gonna-
take her to school at like 7 a.m., right?
Yes, well,
That's fun.
I'm gonna send her out the back door and be like, "She get in?" We live right by the school. So getting there in the morning is not a big deal, but
Okay.
having to be done with my workday at 2:30 is gonna be a big deal. But then I don't have to be done with my day. I can go home from 2:30 to 5:30 and be with her. And then after 5:30, when Ryan gets home, I can finish up what I need to finish up. So we get to make choices. Yeah. So I will say about this list that if these are the things you're excited about, the good news is these are the things that you get. I mean, this is what real estate is. It's helping people. We are rewarded by empowering others. We help them reach their goals. We never get bored. Every day is different. We get to practice our problem-solving skills. We make deeper connections. I mean, I start out at the beginning of a transaction, I just got referred to me. I don't know anything about them. And by the end, we're best friends and we're gonna be part of each other's lives. Especially if I'm committed to the consistency of following up with them and staying in relationship with them. We get to build something for ourselves. We get to build something for our children and our children's children. And we can provide income for others. So that is what real estate is. We can do all the things that we're excited about. But in order to do that, we have to be willing, like the slide said yesterday, everyone can do it, but will you? So we have to make that commitment that we're willing to do the things that it takes. Okay, behind the big results of a successful real estate career are daily activities and habits. The steps are small, but they lead back to a big life for you. Let's talk about the day-to-day activities of all successful real estate agents, otherwise known as the 6 core competencies of a business, which come from Gary Keller's book, The Shift. The 6 core competencies of a business are the priorities you must focus on as you run and grow your business. So I do want to point out that they're not the same as your 20%. Because your 20% had to do with lead generation, lead follow-up, setting appointments, getting contracts, negotiating contracts and conversations. So that's your 20%. Your 6 core competencies add to that a little bit.
Those 6 things in the book somewhere.
They should be in the book somewhere.
Page
2.3.
2.3.
I wish this told me what page you guys were on, but it
Well, the
doesn't.
20%, 6.
Oh,
The 6 items for the.
It was in our previous stuff.
yeah, it should have been in yesterday's
Oh, okay.
stuff.
We wrote it
And
down.
if it isn't, it will definitely come up again.
So basically, the 20% would be item 1 and 4 on page 2.3 roughly.
So it's lead generate, and convert to appointments, plus following up, and then getting agreements, negotiating contracts, and practicing your scripts. That's your 20%.
Okay, so it's, I got you.
And then this adds to it. So your core competencies are, number 1 is lead generate, capture, and convert to appointments. Capturing means that you're getting their name, their email, their address or phone number, so you're not just, meeting them or getting their name off the social media. You've got to get some other information from them so that you can connect with them. And then you want to have those conversations in which you're able to convert them to an appointment. Then you're gonna present to buyers or to sellers and get an agreement. So an agreement is your employment agreement. So you want to be able to sit down with them in an appointment, talk to them about whether or not they're wanting to buy and sell, explain the process to them, and then get them to sign the agreement that they want to work with you. Then you're gonna show them homes, or you're gonna market their listing. You're gonna write and negotiate contracts. You're gonna coordinate the sale to closing, so that's your transaction coordination. And then you're gonna manage the money, not their money, your money. We don't manage their money, right? Although we do find out a lot of things about their money. We reviewed the overall path of Ignite, and you can see that we will cover all of these competencies. We build on each one as we go. Running a successful business involves engagement in all 6 of these activities. The first competency is your first priority. After all, if you have no leads, you have no business. You must have leads to sustain a thriving business, which is what you signed up for, right? Let's break it down. You will learn, and it will be repeated over and over, that the number 1 job is lead generation. It's the daily practice of talking to people about buying and selling real estate. So remember, we talked yesterday about some people love to pick up the phone and call strangers and say, what happened to your previous listing? Or, hey, I noticed that you've got your house for sale by owner. Some people love that. I do not. So for me, I'm gonna call people that I already have relationships with. I'm gonna nurture those relationships. I'm gonna have conversations about their everyday life, and I'm gonna make sure that I slide in real estate. Let's see, capturing is about obtaining accurate contact information. That is name, phone number, email address, and any other data a person is willing to divulge. Capture also means adding new people to your database. So I had a terrible habit in the beginning of hosting open houses, getting people's contact information, and then putting those pieces of paper on my desk where they would stay, and they would never get into my database. So I had to really get into the habit, and I had to spend a lot of time and effort getting those in there and downloading the contacts from my phone, getting them into my database. We spent hours and hours working on that, but it paid off because now I can send email campaigns, I can send newsletters. Those were things that for years I was neglecting. A huge portion of the people that I knew, I wasn't communicating with them on a regular basis. Another important component of lead generation and capture is that you ask for permission to stay in contact with each person. You'll learn more about the importance of this step as we explore lead generation later in Ignite. So there's 2 reasons that you're going to want to do that. If I end a conversation, they should have an idea of when I'm going to contact them next. Hey, I'll touch base with you again in a couple of weeks. Is that okay? 1, we want permission because we want to come from contribution. We want them to feel like we're here to serve and help them and not like they're a commodity for us. So is it okay if I call you back? Because there's something in our conversation that we're going to follow up on later. But also, we talked about our do not call list. So we want to make sure that we constantly have permission to continue to call that person.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
And it's I was refreshing my, my mind from the Red Book. And he talks about, I think it's page 150, 60, something like that, on lead generation. Whenever you first meet a person, let's say you meet a person at a network meeting, and you have a quick conversation with that person, you exchange information, and then he talks about an 8 times 8.
Mm-hmm.
That seems a little too much to me. So it's for the next 8 weeks, you'll make a touch with that person in some way. That just seems like a lot to me. For 8
Like a
solid
stalker.
weeks, like, I'm gonna bug this person for 8 solid weeks. I'm gonna remind them who I am, what I do. You know, I do more of the drip campaign once a quarter with my sphere of influence. Maybe I should do more once a month is kind of what I'm thinking. But 8
So-
times in 8 weeks.
Well, on an 8x8, one thing your limiting belief is that you're bugging the guy. Why don't you call him up and say, hey, how can I help you get business? I'm interested in what you're doing. What kind of clients are you looking for? Because I'm meeting people every day. So, that would be one contact. Another contact would be just say, it's great to meet you at the meeting. If you ever are in the area, let's get lunch, whatever, So you don't really make it about, hey, I'm in real estate. Hey, I'm in real estate. Hey, I'm in real estate.
No, I didn't mean that. I'm just wondering if that's the way they take it. Depending on how you're approaching.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the approach.
It just seemed like a lot to me, 8 weeks in a row.
So the 8x8
But I like those ideas. Yeah.
isn't always a
I do
call every single time, and
Well,
it's
you
not
got
always a
Facebook.
text every single time.
Yeah,
So, like you said, you could send a text that said, it was so great meeting you,
yeah,
blah, blah, blah. You could send a handwritten card with your business card.
right.
Then you could follow up with, I've been thinking more about, give them a call and say, I've been thinking more about what you do, and I'm wondering how I can help you get some business.
Right.
The fourth one could be your newsletter.
Yeah.
So it can be a variety of things. The fifth one could be comment on their social media post. So there's things that you
That's
could
good. Just
do.
be creative.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
let it be natural. And I think that what would be weird is if you text somebody or called somebody
8 times.
8 times over 8 weeks.
Yeah.
They'd be like, why is this guy calling me?
Yeah, why
again?"
just kept bugging me?
But if you're able to find a variety of ways,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
think about if you just, and I don't know, if maybe it's different for men than women, but if I meet someone,
Mhm,
if I go out to like a girls' lunch and there's someone new there and I just meet them for the first time and we really connect,
mhm.
I'm not gonna have any problem texting that person,
Yeah.
8 times over the next 8 weeks.
Oh.
But that's because that's how women are. We
Yeah.
connect and we're best friends now.
Yeah.
But men may not be that way, so you may have to look
Yeah,
at different
yeah.
ways to communicate that feel more natural.
Yeah,
So it
those
doesn't
are
feel
good
awkward.
ideas. Yeah,
you know?
great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and then finally, once you have.
Sports.
So once you've met the person, you've captured their information, you're going to then be in conversations with them to lead to the appointment. Capturing leads is wonderful. However, the ultimate goal is to find active buyers and sellers and set an appointment to meet and agree to work together in the buying or selling of real estate. Remember, we are learning and building on each new skill as we advance through the entire course of Ignite. This is why it's important to attend every session and to complete the course, which I know all of you will. What questions do you have about the first competency? So again, our first competency is lead generate, capture, and convert. Any questions?
I have a question. I didn't see anything in KW Command when I came over that would help with a template on newsletter. What do you use for that? Because you
So
mentioned it a couple of
can-
times.
You can use it in Command. It's under designs. And there is a newsletter. I personally right now pay Onward to create mine for me.
Okay,
They charge, I think, $150 a month and they put all my people into MailChimp. And it goes, MailChimp connects with your command, so they create it and they send it out.
oh, they send it out and everything, so.
Yeah,
And you
now
review
they'll
it?
send me they'll send me like, hey, here's your options for what we could include this month.
Mhm.
I'll pick some things. Sometimes we'll have something we specific, like if we've had an event or we have, something that we're doing for a charity, we'll want to throw that in there. And then they will create it, I'll review it, and then it goes out.
Is there a way, or do you use a way to connect an article you've read that
Yes.
you really like?
Yep.
And connect that somehow to your newsletter and, okay, they
So-
do that as well?
Yep,
Yeah.
Okay.
usually they actually find the articles for me. But if
Okay,
you have one specifically, you can send it to them and they'll do a tiny blurb and then they'll have a link to the full article.
okay, great.
So you can do it through that.
Can I ask what kind of response you get from your newsletters?
So I don't know that,
Touch.
What'd you say?
It's just that they're talking about the 8 touches, that's another form of touching your sphere.
Yeah, yeah.
Keeping your name up there.
Yeah.
Most of the time, we don't get a response.
yeah, it's not
But-
necessarily designed to elicit a response. I do occasionally get responses if we've got something specific. So we're having an event, somebody might respond and say, hey, I want to find out more about that. Can I invite a friend? Whatever. So unless there's something specific going on, but mostly it's just staying top of mind. Honestly, I don't even care if they open it. I just hope
You
they
know what
see it in their
your-
inbox.
You can see what your open rate is?
Yes, and actually our open rate has been pretty high, higher than what is the average. That's what I understand. I know nothing.
What
That's
is, do you
they
know what
tell me.
that is? I mean, cause.
No, but we can go find out.
Depends on who you
Investigate.
are.
We can go,
Yeah.
well, we'll just go upstairs and
Yeah.
say, what's my open rate?
I found that my clients do not open, if you use MailChimp, it's another phone number. If they don't know it, they don't open it, and they just delete it. And so I do have an assistant, and she's online, and she writes all my newsletters and all that, but we manually send an email to all ex-clients,
Yeah.
clients and all that, using my email and my phone number.
Right. Yeah.
I
And
think
you
it's
can
also.
You can do that now through MailChimp too. It, like mine shows up as being from Amy Hunsaker Williams, and it shows up from my email.
Is it email or text?
Well, we do ours by email.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd
So
love to
talking
do it
about
by
text,
text. I
yeah.
hadn't even thought about that. Then you're really getting.
Oh, you send your newsletter via text?
You can say text, but if there is not your phone number, it's if
But I thought we were
Like
talking
alternate
newsletters. So newsletters go via email.
email. I mean, you don't want something, a really long text.
Okay.
You want text is just.
MailChimp is an email service, right?
You're thinking
No.
Twilio.
Oh.
You're thinking about
There you
Twilio.
go, Twilio.
So
I got- sorry, I
Twilio
got
is how we can
Yeah.
send out texts
Mhm.
through command. And I will say that we were having good success when we sent out birthday texts. And when we sent out a seasonal message, we had a whole bunch of people unsubscribe.
Stop. Interesting.
Which was like, oh, no.
Mhm.
When they say stop, then you
You
gotta
can't,
stop.
yeah, you gotta stop. So
You were sending out what?
Amy?
we were sending out just birthday, and the birthday ones were going really
Right.
well. But when we did a seasonal message as just an additional touch, we got a lot of people who unsubscribe. People don't want to hear positive things, as it turns out.
What is the definition of appointment? Are we talking an appointment where somebody's like, I want to list my house, or I want to buy a house, or is it?
So in this, okay, so there's two things.
Yeah.
So for me, when we're in coaching and
Mhm.
Shanna's saying, how many appointments did you have? I'm looking at that personally. Maybe it was an appointment for actual real estate transaction. Maybe it's a long-term nurture. And I want to just have it as another way to get in front of people and make sure that they know what I do, so I'm top of mind. But in this case, when they're saying, what is one of your main job responsibilities? It is to set appointments for the sake of real estate. So it's a buyer's consultation or a listing consultation.
All right. Thank you.
So how would you count appointments, like if you're gonna meet a lender, or you're gonna meet different vendors, or different people and things, just kind of developing those relationships?
I count that like for coaching, when Shanna's tracking, I count that as an appointment because I'm gonna look at that as either I'm building up my team of people that I can, that will benefit my clients, but also those are people that might offer me referrals as I offer them referrals. So, yeah.
Back on lead generation, would farming an area fall under that category?
Yes. Yes. Because that's, there's a lot of ways that we can get leads. So we can get leads by calling people on the telephone and finding out if they're in need of some type of real estate, if they're gonna buy or sell, or if they have someone that they might refer. You can do it through open house. You can do it through networking groups. You can do it through farming. But anybody who potentially could transact within a certain time frame is considered a lead.
Will we cover more detail in how to farm?
I honestly don't know. I don't think we will.
Lead generation is next week, right? So
Yes, I'll talk to Maria about it and see if she's planning to touch on that more. I'm happy to share what I know about farming.
Well, I'm
Let
looking
me
at,
find out from Maria first if she's gonna cover that. Yeah, and then I'll see if I can also get a few other people that do that really well that we can get as resources.
great.
All right, so our second one is to present to buyers and sellers and get agreements. So, and that is the buyer's consultation or the listing consultation. So we are gaining leads, we're converting those leads into appointments, and this is that appointment. It's the buyer or seller consultation. So we want to get really, really good at presenting to those potential clients. So you'll want to create a buyer's consultation guide or a listing presentation guide, and that's something that you can use to walk someone through the process of the transaction and then close that sale by having them sign your agreement to work with you exclusively. And I can only assume that they're going to share consultation guides at some point. I can share my current guide. Maria's redoing ours right now, but I can share those with you guys so you can have an idea of what's typically included. Number 3 is, let me write that down. Show buyers or market sellers. So we want to get really good at scheduling our showings, creating itineraries, creating maps, working with the other agents to get it scheduled, staying on time, being respectful if there's another agent who's already there or who's coming right behind you. So those are the things that we want to develop those skills. And then when it comes to marketing our listings, we want to look for all the different ways that we can possibly market that listing. So we're going to have a sign in the yard. We might have flyers attached to that. We'll do an open house. We might door knock the neighborhood. We might circle call around the neighborhood to say, do you know anybody who's looking to buy or sell in this neighborhood? We can put it out on social media. We can do social media paid ads. There's, you can put it into your newsletter so that your whole database knows you have this new listing. As many things as you can do to market that listing. But our greatest asset that we have is our MLS, and that's where we're going to be posting that listing. 6 core competencies continued is write and negotiate your contract. So we've been hearing a lot about contracts this week because we've had a revision. So if you were in coaching this morning, you got to review that. If you're in team meeting on Tuesday, you were able to review that. We have contract classes typically twice a month. Jim will teach one and Don will teach one. They're usually in the afternoon. This month, because of Ignite, we do not have a contracts class, but I believe Brian Stone is perhaps going to be teaching sometime in the morning. It was on the schedule and it got postponed, so I'm not sure what the date is on it. But I know that that's one of the things that several of you were wanting to make sure that you fully understood. I don't know if they'll go through the contract here, so you'll want to make sure that you check the schedule and find out when you can get into a contracts class.
Are all contracts pretty much done digitally now?
Yeah, I mean, there's times when I'll print it and take it with me. If
There's some clients that they want paper. They
Yeah,
don't
some
do
clients
computers.
aren't comfortable with electronic, they don't want to do electronic signature, or they're not comfortable with technology, so they'll want to do a wet signature. Sometimes if I have already shown the property, we've already kind of decided that we're gonna write a contract, we're gonna go back for a second showing, I might go ahead and print one, just in case they want to do it there. Otherwise, we'll go back to the office and do it digitally. It's really up to you. It's really up to you. I will say that once you do it a few times on the computer, you'll realize just how easy it makes life so much easier for you. Yeah. You still want to make sure that even when you're doing it digitally, that you're walking them through every portion of the contract and you're showing them what terms you've written in, you know, based on what they've told you that they want. You really want them to understand it because in this digital age, people will sign things without fully reviewing it. And you want to make sure you're their fiduciary, which we're going to talk about today. You want to make sure that they're fully advised to protect them, but also to protect you.
Especially, they don't look at it in the computer, they look at it in the phone. There's no
Yeah.
way you can read a contract in the phone, but make sure, you know, always say, please read it before you sign.
And a lot of times I'll say, listen, I'm sending this to you electronically. As soon as you receive it, call me and then we'll go through it paragraph by paragraph over the phone.
So 10 contracts, how many are yours are digital out of 10 and paper as opposed to paper? Just rough
9.8.
digital? Oh, wow, okay.
But that's how I was taught. I mean, the team that I worked for did everything digitally. I typically will only use paper if the situation calls for it. And then number 5, coordinate the sale to closing. So that's your transaction coordination. So once you're under contract, you've negotiated the contract, now you're ready to proceed with the next step. So you're gonna make sure you get everything to the lender. You're gonna get everything to the title company. You're going to, if you're representing the buyer, you're gonna make sure you get the inspection scheduled based upon who they want to hire. You're going to get those inspections in, you're gonna review that with them, you're gonna send an inspection notice saying, hey, these are our deal breaker items that have to get fixed before closing. You're gonna negotiate that. You're gonna make sure that those repairs actually get complete, that you have proof that they were complete. You're gonna do a final walkthrough. You're gonna check their settlement statement that the closing company sends that has all the numbers and make sure it's accurate. And then you're gonna go to closing. So that was a very quick description. I do know for those who are in coaching, and I'm sure that even if you're not in coaching, she would let anyone attend. We will be doing another buyer boot camp, probably right after we get back from family reunion. And in that, we will take 3 weeks to walk through everything there is to know about working with a buyer and covering every bit of the transaction. We'll do the same thing for listings sometime after that. We did it last year and we're gonna do it again. And then manage the money. So again, this has to do with how well you're managing your money. You are going to be a fiduciary to your client, but they're not going to want to work with someone who doesn't know how to manage their own money and run a profitable business. And mindset matters. Let's see what this is. There's another essential component to this job. It's mindset, your mindset each and every day. We talked about this on day 1, and you've got the Keller Williams belief systems along with the 6 personal perspectives to keep you strong. Who can remember any of the 6 personal perspectives? Does anybody remember the 6 personal perspectives?
Mastery.
Commit to self-mastery.
Learning based.
Be learning based.
The 20 to 80, E to P.
E to P, 80-20 rule.
Come on, guys.
Let's cheat, let's see.
No, you can't
There was
cheat.
one on limiting beliefs and there is.
Remove it.
Oh, you cheated.
Remove limiting beliefs. Is that what it says?
Yes.
Okay. I wish that they would have put it back in front of me, but they didn't.
Right.
I guess they expect me to have them memorized.
And the last one is be accountable.
Be accountable. Right. It's important to keep your mindset program to success and continue to believe in yourself. There may be days when you feel less accomplished and you'll need to pull yourself up and keep going. Maintain a mindset focused on being of service. Adopting a mindset and a philosophy of contributing to the lives of other people allows you to be direct and to the point in your interactions with them. With a focus on contribution and being of service, you'll communicate more effectively with customers and win their hearts and minds effortlessly. So, I mean, that's so true, right? When you've had a conversation with someone and you felt like it was about you instead of about them, how many times have you sort of circled around in the conversation and not really said what needed to be said? But when you care about the other person and you're contributing to them and their situation and helping, you're so much more likely to just be honest and direct and say, this is what we need to do. Think about it with like your kids. When you really want to help your kids, you don't skirt around the conversation. You're very clear and you're very direct, and you come from, it's in a loving manner. So it's the same thing with our clients. Energy, enthusiasm, and a deeply rooted belief in doing the best job possible for each and every customer attracts people to you. Take every opportunity to educate the people in your personal, professional, and social life about what you do and how you can help them. These reminders for people in your network can lead to many, many referrals for business. So that's something else to keep in mind, that when you're sharing who you are and what you do, and it's because you want to help others, you're not always asking them, do you want to transact? Do you want to buy or sell a house? But just keep continuing to remind in an authentic way. They'll think of you when they know somebody else. So it's not always about that person in front of you. Sometimes it's about their referral as well. Let's discuss some realities about being a real estate agent. That's the following questions. Okay, how long on average does it take to get a buyer or seller to sign a contract for a sale or listing?
Depends on how many questions you ask.
Okay. This says 1 to 60 days or more, depending on how much time you put into lead generation every day and how many appointments you go on and obtain signed contracts. So when we're lead generating, one of the most important things we're doing is asking questions to get to their motivation and find out their timeline so that we're mirroring what's important to them. How long does it take for a transaction to close and for you to get paid?
Usually 30 to 45 days. Sometimes 60, but that's about the extent.
This says 30 to 60 days, depending on your market and whether you're working with a buyer or a seller. How quickly do you want to get paid? Or how long can you go without a payday? Anybody want to answer that?
Yesterday.
Are we in hours or minutes?
How quickly do I want to get paid 30 days from now? I want to write a contract today and get paid 30 days from now.
Yeah.
How long could I go without a paycheck? I personally want to get a paycheck at least once a month, and I prefer to get 3. It can't be stressed enough how important it is to develop your skills in these areas so you can get paid and be successful in this business. Lead generate every day, build your database of contacts, communicate with people about real estate daily, commit to go on a lot of appointments, and practice conversations to get better every day. So that basically went back to our 80 or our 20%. Remember the quote from yesterday, anyone can do it, not everyone will you? So the question is, will you commit to these 6 core competencies? I want everyone to raise their hand.
I solemnly swear.
I solemnly swear on a daily basis to
Pledge allegiance.
Here's another quote from The Shift, another book by Gary Keller and his writing team. It's about the importance of the 6 competencies to reaching your highest potential. Would someone like to read this for us?
To achieve your highest potential, these 6 core competencies must be done consistently and done well. Gary Keller, The Shift.
100%. After covering this section, what are your ahas? Jot them down in your participant guide, but also please share them with us.
And on the hard copy, we duplicated 1 and 2.
The question was the same.
Oh,
1 and 2 are the
On
same.
those 3 questions you just asked us, they didn't change question number 2, they repeated question number 1.
So the second question, if anybody wants to jot it down, was how long does it take for a transaction to close and for you to get paid?
I think you read it right on yours, but on the hard copy it's different.
Ahas?
I like, it's 6 competencies, kind of breaks it down. I mean, everything's overwhelming right now, everything's new for me. So breaking it down, these 6, okay, this is the 6 things I need to focus on.
Yeah, gives us some order,
Yeah.
some clarity.
So is this one of those things where you get really good at one? Or you work hard on, because I mean, you're gonna be doing, if you have clients, you're doing all of them.
Let me ask you this, if there were one and only one, what would it be?
Lead gen,
There you go.
but then, okay, all right.
So kind of. They're gonna happen in that order.
Right.
But as soon as you have that one lead and you convert them to a set appointment, very quickly, you're gonna have to do the others.
Right.
And then you're gonna do that again.
And get it.
So the lead generation, you're gonna work to become competent in that first, because that's how you're gonna get to the second one. But once you get that second one, boom, 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 you're gonna have to be ready. So, but again, remember, you don't have to know everything and you don't have to be fully competent. It's your overall goal over the next 20 years to become competent in real estate. You know, there's things.
20 years, honey, child.
Let me think. No, I don't want to do this in 20 years. But again, we're never going to know everything. We'll be competent, but we won't be perfect. But it takes doing each of these things over and over and over again to become competent. We're not going to be competent before we do them. So we've just got to be ready to move forward and ask for help in those areas where we're not competent because somebody else is.
I do think that at the beginning, when you start transactions, you have to learn to do everything. But with time, you realize of what is you're good at. If you're good at something, you're gonna do it really good. Like I do computers and all that, but I have an assistant now and she does all my postings. So you leverage, you learn to find somebody to do your contracts. In a way, you're not worried about writing a contract when you're going to another appointment. And the offer has to be done by 6 and you're showing 3 houses that day. So you'll pick and choose where you like. You might love contract.
You can hire somebody to do your contracts.
Yeah,
I joked about that yesterday, because that's a thing.
Or you might hire somebody to do phone calls. And you go and after you get an appointment, you go and meet with the client. So, I mean, there's,
Licensed to do the contract, right? Has to be a licensed person to write the contract. Yeah,
What's the question?
So.
they can write it for you, but you're the one, as
Does it-
the agent, you are presented. It's your responsibility to make sure it's okay.
I
right.
don't think they have to be licensed to
Mhm.
write it. They just can't present it. Was that your question?
Uh-huh.
Right, yeah. You would still have to be the one to like
Right.
proofread and
Yes, like you'd have to tell them.
ensure everything's correct.
You have to
I'm
sign
just
it.
gonna
before
say,
you
I
send
don't
it
know
to
the
them.
answer to the question for
Mhm.
sure. I don't know. I've never had someone else write mine for me that wasn't licensed, so I don't know. I've never written one for someone having not been licensed. But it is ultimately our responsibility to say, these are the terms that need to be written into the contract, and then thoroughly review it
Mhm.
before sending it to the client to sign.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is what she does.
I didn't realize we actually wrote the contracts.
Well, the contracts are written,
You just
and
fill
we
in.
just fill in the information that could vary based on the client's wishes. So there's blanks that we can fill in, boxes we can check.
So there's like a generic contract that everyone, this is what everyone uses.
Yeah.
You need to go to a
Everyone.
contracts class,
Puts it
yes. That will help you greatly. Yeah.
It's all in the drive too.
Regulate.
Yes.
And they're, you know,
She's not in
and you
there
can
yet.
see them.
She's still doing case 4, so she doesn't have access to everything yet.
Oh, you will.
Okay, so let's move on to recognizing our role as a fiduciary. Now that we've introduced the 6 core competencies, hold on, wait, backing it up, we've got another aha online. Sorry, guys, I'm gonna make sure that I'm reading. This may seem simple, but I keep hearing over and over to do all these things every day. Lead generation every day, practice conversations every day, and on and on. That was from Melissa. Yes, Melissa, so our 20% that we discussed yesterday, those are things that we want to be working on every day. But lead generation and conversation practice, if we do that every day, that's how we get to convert and schedule appointments. That's how, I'm talking to her like she's right here. She's up here. Schedule appointments, negotiate contracts. That's how we get to those steps, is by doing the other 2 things every single day. Okay, now that we've introduced the 6 core competencies, you know the essentials of what your job as a real estate agent entails. There are 2 ways that you can serve your clients: as a functionary or as a fiduciary. We learned earlier how important it is to maintain a mindset focused on being of service. Let's imagine doing business with a company, for example, a car repair company that doesn't really care about your needs. They just focus on getting the job done and getting paid. They don't build a relationship with you or stay in touch during the job or after the job. Now, let's imagine doing business with a different car company. This one listens to you, anticipates your needs, helps you make decisions, educates you on the process, acts like a partner in the process, keeps you updated on the status of the work, and even follows up with you after the job. What's the difference? The difference is that the first company acted like a functionary, and the second company is acting as your fiduciary. Your role as a respected and successful agent is to be a fiduciary. And when we all signed up to be realtors with the National Association of Realtors, we agreed to act as a fiduciary. In The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Gary Keller explains, a functionary is one who is a specific task relationship with their, has a specific task relationship with their clients. They just do the job. While fiduciary is one who not only does the tasks of the job, they are also in a high trust relationship with their client, and they feel total responsibility for the outcome. This is especially important in real estate when people are making one of the most expensive purchases of their lives. Why would a prospective buyer or seller prefer to work with an agent who presents themselves as a fiduciary versus a functionary? Why do you think they choose to work?
Well, first you have a fiduciary person, you build a relationship with a client. You becomes your friend.
Well, you're acting in their best interest
Mhm.
as their fiduciary.
Even above your own.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
They come first. We also, I mean, we want, it's kind of like when you've got a medical issue that comes up. You want a doctor you can trust. You want someone who's going to walk you through, this is exactly what we're dealing with. This is how we're going, you know, this is how we're going to facilitate your healing. This is what you can expect. That's what we would all want, right? It's kind of like, you know, I think I might have mentioned it yesterday. I said it somewhere, but when you go to the hospital and the doctors and the nurses act like this is all just par for the course, you know, they've been through it a million times, but you've only been through it once. But then sometimes you get that nurse who comes in and tells you exactly what to expect, who's anticipating your needs, who's taking care of you, who understands how you feel. And you can sense the difference. I mean, you really feel the difference. And it's the same thing in a real estate transaction with our clients. Because the fiduciary places their client's interests ahead of all others, even their own. What does this mean? It means win, win, or no deal. If the transaction does not benefit the client, it's no deal. So many of us have been in that place where we get to a week before closing or 3 days before closing, and we've done so much work, and we've done everything that we're supposed to do. We've anticipated that we're gonna get this paycheck, and we probably already know what we're gonna spend it on. And something comes up, and we know that we've got to do the right thing for our client, even though that means letting the transaction end. And we have to be willing to set our own needs aside and figure out what is best for them, and how do we protect them, and how do we make sure that we get them out of that transaction, if that's the right thing. And it's really hard, when this is how we're making a living, but we have to make sure that we're putting them ahead. And if it's not a win-win, if it's a win for me, and it's a win for the seller, and it's a win for the listing agent, but it's not a win for the buyer, it's gotta be no deal. Quickly review the differences between functionary and fiduciary in your participant guide. Being a fiduciary is a big deal. It's an honor. It's more important than ever in today's market to wear this badge of honor proudly. Helping your clients understand your fiduciary role is a big part of what you offer as an agent. So let's see, so I agree. So going back to what Melissa said on her aha about lead gen and conversations, Evan said, Melissa, I agree. I've been slow the last couple of months, and ultimately it's my fault. I haven't done these simple actions enough on a consistent basis. Way to be accountable, Evan. Okay, so who wants to, I don't have these differences unless they're on the next page. No, I don't. Can somebody read to me the differences between the fiduciary and the functionary?
Well, they have a lot of them.
Okay, just read me a few.
Low level and fiduciary is high level. Low relationship, high relationship, assumes zero responsibility, accepts high responsibility. Employee, it's a functionary. Partner is a fiduciary. Does the task, own the result. Tells and sells, educates and guides. Replaceable, irreplaceable. Minimal pay, highly paid.
Love that.
There's.
It kind of reminded me of the list of those people who are accountable versus those people who are not accountable. A fiduciary is definitely someone who's got high accountability for themselves and for their client. Okay, so let's see. Divide attendees into 5 groups. I don't know that we can really do that, but we'll figure something out. And we are going to, and then someone is going to write things down. Assign one of the 5 core competencies to each group. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we've only got, let's do groups of 2, and I'll assign 4, and I'll take 1. Let's see. Participants may refer to the difference between the functionary and fiduciary table in their guide, and you're going to brainstorm. I think what we're going to do is, like, you're going to take your core competency and you're going to say, how do you act as a fiduciary within that area? Does that make sense? So if I say to you, you're going to lead generate, capture, and convert, how do you act as a fiduciary when you're lead generating, capturing, and converting? Or how do you act as a fiduciary when you are presenting to buyers and sellers and getting agreements? Does everybody see where we're going with that?
Yes.
Okay, so these first 2, if you guys will do lead generate, capture, and convert, you guys will do buyer and sellers and getting agreements. So that's your listing and listing presentation and your buyer presentation, and getting them to sign to work with you. In the back, if you guys will work with showing buyers and marketing sellers. And if you guys will do writing and negotiating contracts.
Lead generate.
I don't have the
Consistency.
Okay.
You have to be a fiduciary who would do it consistently, Capture them.
We're doing our listing presentations or buying presentations.
So I have to pass
This
this
page is
Smart, making sure you follow up and you build a relationship. And you- Yeah.
Alright.
Here's the list.
Okay.
I think it's just.
You know,
What's your first
you
thought?
know, list when at least this come out. you know,
Yeah.
that's why they're looking for a house, you know.
Right.
to do a walk.
Constantly.
Right.
So people-
Pretty straightforward.
So, yeah, build a relationship.
Like the positives and
People that
negatives.
are
Awesome experience. Just felt totally listened to.
Get as much data.
Yeah.
I remember that
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
And I can
Because
tell you stories.
I don't know
of
that
when
she's
business-
talking about.
So then,
Because you remember
but
the way
actually.
Yeah.
Remember if you
Yeah,
felt
that's all.
heard,
I
if
mean,
you
that's what
felt,
you remember.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
You know,
exactly.
a drip plan, or not a
All
drip
right.
plan, but the MLS where they get,
I don't
So
know
be the
if
fiduciary.
You know what?
whether or not, because I
you put them in immediately.
I asked for
Um,
this.
Yeah.
And
But I
that's
think
how I
the
created
overall
a
idea of you
relationship.
wanna
Let's
get as
say
much
in an
information
open house,
as you
they
can.
get called, that's
So
how
that you know
ask.
exactly what they need.
And they say,
And
yeah.
Same
we
with
want
sellers,
this, this,
you know, finding out their motivating
If you
factors,
give
I
me
guess.
your email address, I'm glad to give you.
Say
picture
listening and
insert.
find
So
out.
that's gonna be, that's
And
gonna
list
involve
comes
listening
up,
too.
Sends it to you.
Alright, so then, yeah,
Asking
okay.
them like
It's
what
part
they're
of
looking
my-
for
me
or
trying to
specifically
get them
not
to
looking
confirm.
for.
Yeah. And then once they start seeing things, then they'll
So-
convert.
And then I
Why are you
call them
wanting
next
to
day.
buy?
So we know we're,
Send them a
we're
card,
wanting to know
thank
their
you,
needs
come
and
to
not
my open
just
house.
sell the
Exactly.
house. Yeah,
Spend time with me, and then I call, 2-3 days later, hey, how's it going?
Right.
And then, other
Or
things
I'll
can
send
be-
them, if I have the.
Oh, I know.
Oh, we're just
doing
doing this
this
one.
for.
Oh, okay,
Don't
okay.
promise more than you can.
And
Perfect.
from there, and you listen to
Who you are
hey,
and-
you like this house, you like to go and see it?
Offer.
Mhm.
I mean, I think,
So then,
you know,
lead generate is consistency daily. And then,
have a
once
relationship.
we capture the,
When you're
we
even.
build it,
Or
build the
not just thinking,
Don't rush the
this is just an
process.
account. If I could just
begin
get
the process of.
Right,
seeing
right.
Pay for this,
information out
all
there
these people
before.
on.
And then as we're doing that,
Don't think of it as a
then we
transaction.
convert it to
Yeah,
an
yeah.
appointment by showing them a house or talking.
Also, I do ask him if they have a lender, they're planning to pay, and if they don't have lender, we've had the process,
Mhm.
would you like me to recommend you some lenders that are worth,
Particularly if you're
you know,
working with like a
depends
first time
on.
home buyer.
Yeah, so this is where
Maybe
the
not
buyer
that,
presentation
you know,
comes
check out
in,
the
you know, showing somebody
foundation,
this
check out the
is, these are the
windows,
steps.
check out these big ticket items.
Right,
Okay.
but we're only doing this.
Maybe
I
potentially some of
usually
those-
also do, it just depends.
Mhm.
I am bilingual, so I do get a lot of Hispanics that they don't even think that they can get a loan in the bank. So it's all about education.
The,
You know,
Probably,
educating them,
I mean,
saying, yes, you
Being
can.
genuinely concerned.
And they tell you, yeah, I have the money, and
You
they
know.
they come to closing and they bring $20,000 cash to closing.
Sure, why not?
They told me they had the money,
Mhm.
so
I think pick up on that.
so it's just all about.
Or like what you were
education.
saying, they're gonna pick up on.
All right, I mean,
And the
Oh, yeah.
lead questionnaire is the.
I mean, that's
no
probably
lead
part of
generator
the
yesterday.
We're
No
moving,
keeping
but you know,
informed,
what drew you
just
to this
waiting for the.
house? How long have you been there?
Things
They're still my clients.
Buyer side.
That they
Um,
gave this guy,
What's
a lot of
your
reasons they sold six houses that.
I think
they
they're
did under order.
Great, are you downsizing?
And- But she always complained to me, he's never broke my house, always found the
They
house.
know.
oh, okay.
Sell it, buy or sell, just
I
get
keep
those
it
referrals.
I
that's
understand.
probably not.
Asking my
Asking
questions. To me,
questions.
that was not
The
a fiduciary.
Right.
then you're
You
like,
have any
well, this is
questions?
what I can get out of you.
know,
Right.
Yeah.
and then the
And
other.
So I think
this
it's,
presentation
it
appointment should be.
kind of goes down to
What they need.
that one, just building a relationship
That,
Yeah.
versus
Like
just.
engaging them on the
Make it more
process.
personal. Make it
Yeah.
personal.
Yeah. You build that relationship, you educate them, keep them informed, you
Upcoming
show them the
process.
process, which is the education of buying or selling a home.
I think also.
Yeah.
Once I am
With
educated.
that.
Exactly.
Once we know what's going on.
I haven't
Um,
been working
having
on that
a-
brain to work, and I've been
Having
having surgeries and
a,
all that, and
Mhm.
a thorough.
some clients that
But-
they will come to me out.
No, you can
I think, you know, responsibility here.
Uh-huh.
So,
So I think
had a-
taking responsibility,
Latino couple that bought a house with me 3 years ago. And they want to pay it off.
Right, right.
It's too small. And they want a bigger house. And so I found them another
Owning up
one.
to your mistakes.
And I called the agent and said, hey, I wanna get in ready to send an offer. He says, hey, you know what, I just put it in
Situation that you fake it.
I'll give you $6,000 commission to the agent that was.
We'll find out for you.
Great. You know, I said, great, so I sent them the offer, and she texted me, she said, well, I'm gonna text you my response. And she pretty much told me, take
People are okay with
$6,000, don't hold it to your client for a price.
And if they'll
get to that
trust,
point.
because they know that you're not just
Not
out
it,
to win, be that,
Why would
you
you do
know.
that?
I don't know. Sounds kind of
Would you do
strange.
that?
I don't know.
But at the same time,
Because it was-
doing your
Neighbors
best to be
just say,
knowledgeable
"Yeah,
going
sure,
into
appreciate it." And
that, you know.
She said, take the $7,000 and give it to your client, either you or she.
Negotiation didn't change,
So-
so you'll be very good at that.
Just for sitting
Where
there.
are you?
Yes, yes.
No joke. Is that
Are
even
you
legal?
doing case?
well, that's, I called the, my broker
I
here.
felt really
Yeah.
accomplished when I got done. with
And,
48. I thought, oh, this 24.
He
will be
said, yeah,
okay.
I mean, you can take it or leave it,
24 is all
you know.
That's
She's not
what I
really
heard.
doing anything.
And so it
illegal,
takes
she's
just
just
as
offering it.
long as the 48.
Or
They're
they
saying
want
different
conversation
for
to
me.
you
I heard
for
the 24
something, but really it's not.
To me, the 24 was just.
You know, she's using it to.
Literally just.
She sent it to you before closing. She was gonna send it to you
So in
before
that sense, it
closing.
was good,
I guess she was
because I
paying
needed the
it
repeat,
with a
yes.
check or
And so
something.
then I'll
At
tell you what I
closing,
did.
because
Oh,
nobody
okay.
was here.
But it worked for me.
Okay.
The
I
3%
did not
plus the
study a
$7,000.
lot before this.
Or give the
When I
same
was 24, I
$7,000
scheduled
to your
the
clients
exam for the following
and
week.
I
Oh,
represent.
and I said,
her.
okay, I got
How-
5 days.
how many questions
And what
you
I did
have?
during those 5 days was I did sample
Anyway,
questions.
Oh.
we did, it
They have a
didn't.
couple sample
Yeah.
tests
She,
on
you just
there
kept,
and I
This
then-
was odd.
found
and then after inspection,
they were all
the
on
house was not
ones that I
fire.
did. And
So
I
I
just,
said,
Yeah, I mean, I
hey,
feel like you're
I
gonna
kept
get an idea, you
sections.
kind of go in.
You have like
and ask those open
and
out.
so
There's
there's
samples
I was
for.
in his house.
Yes,
Oh, I
okay,
forgot.
yes.
Forgotten.
They shut you down,
It was the same
Okay.
questions.
right? Then maybe
And
you
she
have.
But-
was her house, she
Just let me
redid.
then. just
Oh,
go
I
to the case
know.
and ask you, you know,
There's
what's
another
the
sample
feedback
test at the end.
Yeah.
You know, maybe they don't wanna share.
The
their printout,
7,000 was
but
to
that's okay.
The
encourage
one you're
you
reading
to
now,
Oh,
the
yeah.
text that you're reading
overlook all
now.
of
is-
these things.
And that.
Sweet, because that's,
Helpful that I'm
Wow.
basically what I'm
Setting
reading.
that expectation early on.
She's still in business.
And so.
Here's what this.
Yeah,
This is going to.
I guess she wasn't doing anything illegal, but yeah, that's very, very.
I printed it out myself.
it was the whole thing.
Mhm.
I got so pissed off.
Is it like disclosure
The
agreement?
house
Does that
is
help
very well
people?
done. It would have been,
If you
I
sign
mean, I
something,
did 2
you say,
different
you know what
things.
to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
I was gonna make sure that everything was okay.
Okay, take about 20 seconds.
Everything.
And I kind of.
So
to wrap it up.
It was contingent to sell the house.
Mhm.
The house was not, they would not reduce the house.
Ah.
What was reduced.
Keep this posted.
So, and I
But you're not reading.
I called her, so,
Yeah.
hey, Rebecca,
People don't know if every
buy houses, you're safer, buy my house,
Yeah.
buy their house, and they can go in you.
Financial situation.
She did an inspection of my house.
So you'll get that.
All right,
Circumstances are all
who's gonna go first?
I lost 2
Do you wanna
houses.
just go in order? You
but
guys
it
wanna
was
go
better
first?
than
It doesn't matter.
So you guys had show buyers and market sellers. How are you gonna act as a fiduciary in that regard?
I'm sorry, there was a question.
That makes sense.
They're gonna read how they're gonna act as a fiduciary when they're showing buyers and marketing their listings.
So we talked about, you know, kind of sitting down, listening to them, kind of finding out their motivating factors. You know, why are you looking to buy now? Maybe they're having a baby, maybe they're, you know, it just gives you some insight into, same on the selling side. You know, what drew you to this home? How long have you lived in this home? Finding out, you know, are you looking to downsize? Are you looking to, you know, upgrade?
What's important to them?
Yeah.
Yes,
I think relationship versus just like a transaction, like, let's just get these people out of here. Let's get them down the road and, you
get this
know,
contract signed.
get this contract signed, get me paid and get out of here, you know?
Yeah, so
versus
instead of
having a
searching just
relationship.
for facts.
Yeah.
So instead of the facts, which would be like, instead of just the task at hand, we're gonna look for what's important to them.
There was twice on that list that had responsibility. So taking responsibility for yourself and for your actions, and something goes wrong, taking responsibility for those things versus, well, it's your fault, buyer, you didn't read the contract or this, well, it was my responsibility.
This, or they.
My responsibility to explain all this and, maybe but taking responsibility for what you're.
Yeah, so we even particularly said with most of us being kind of newer, not being afraid to say, I don't know. Building that trust of, you know what, I don't know the answer to this, but I will find out for you, and then getting back with them in a timely manner.
Timely manner is especially important, and I think that's a big part of, that's part of our Realtor oath, and that's part of what we've said that we'll do, right? That we will communicate everything to our clients in a timely manner. So if we know something, they need to know it. So especially, when we're first gathering information on a home. If I say, hey, I'm gonna get that information, I'm gonna call you at 6 o'clock tonight, but I don't call till 7:20, right? Or I've got information from the seller and I hold it, somewhere else in the transaction, and I hold on to that information without relaying it to my clients for 3 days. So they're just over here, thinking everything's going great, and I've got this piece of information that I've not shared with them. So timeliness is really important. Okay, all right, so how about, let's see, how about when we are presenting? So we were doing our consultations and getting our agreements signed.
You want to go, Mary?
We did much information and listen to what their needs are, what they're wanting.
And then educate them well about the upcoming process so that they know what to expect. A big one was don't promise more than you can deliver. Don't rush the process of communicating and conversing with them. And then I guess we talked about, oh, no, you talked about being available. Do you want to share that since it was your idea?
Mary's learning to talk out loud.
That's right, we're helping her.
I have the find what they want and what they don't want.
Oh, okay.
And
Well, she was also talking about making sure you give all of your contact information so that, and being sure to elucidate that you're gonna be available for their questions at any time.
yes.
That was her idea.
Or if you're not, be clear about that too, that, hey, I tell all my clients, if you call me after 7:30, I might or might not answer. I get up at 5 and I go to bed really early. Send me the message, I'll see it first thing in the morning, I'll respond. Or sometimes I'm just real honest and I say, I'm dead to the world after 7. My brain doesn't function the same way. I can't have conversations as well. I don't think things through as well. And I would rather do the service of talking to you the next day. So if you need something after 7, just know that that's gonna be the case. And that way, I've set that expectation.
Another one I just wanted to say was being prepared for the appointment. So you're not just doing it on the fly, being fully prepared with your guide and whatever else information you should have going in.
Yeah, I think that honestly is one of the places where agents drop the ball the most. Thinking that they can, especially, if you're in a situation where a friend calls, someone that you think you're automatically gonna get that listing, or they're automatically gonna wanna work with you, and you don't treat them the same way you would treat someone else, and you go in unprepared. And I've been guilty of it myself, to be honest with you. And I always regret it on the back end, and I always see the evidence of it later. I always know, like, I skipped a step and I need to go back and I need to correct it. Yeah. And there's ways, and you can do that, you can say, hey, I dropped the ball here. We started seeing houses and we never sat down and had a true buyer's consultation. And I feel like I'm missing the mark and we haven't been able to choose a house, and that's on me. So, can we schedule an appointment to sit down and truly go through the consultation together? So you can always correct yourself, and it is about taking that accountability. Okay, how about writing and negotiating contracts?
So on writing, a contract is on a physical piece of paper. And so that has to reflect the wishes of whoever you're representing. And so it's important that that be placed on paper and then presented to the other party in writing, as opposed to maybe trying to cut corners by verbal communication.
Right,
So in writing.
in
So,
writing,
yes,
100%.
due diligence
Yeah.
when it comes to that.
You will find that when you are representing a seller, that there are agents who will attempt to make a verbal offer. Because they don't actually want to take the time to sit down and put it in writing in case you think your seller will say no. And that is such a disservice to their client, because I know as a listing agent, I'm not going to take it as serious as if they actually present it in writing, because I know it's something that their buyer really wants to do.
Mhm.
So it's really important to have it in writing.
You can do them all.
So then on the negotiating side, I think it would be important for, in representing your client, that probably steer away from ultimatums, which could close doors in negotiations really quick. And so, and then the other thing that probably you would do some coaching in would be things that relate to sentimental value, where there's emotion involved. So I think those are just two of the areas that you would probably have to provide help in negotiating.
Absolutely. So that goes back to the motivating factors that you found out in the beginning, what was important to them. When we get to a point where we're negotiating a contract or an inspection notice, we have to know what their motivation is. And then in that case, I'm going to fully educate them on all of the terms that we're discussing. But then I'm going to take those terms and I'm going to say, okay, now let's go back to your motivating factors. Is it important for you to get this house? And if it is, do we want to choose this or do we want to choose this? Do we want to offer this or do we want to offer this? Is it, you said you needed to get into a house, we need to close by this date. That's what, and this was the house that you wanted to close on by this date. Is this one repair going to be worth losing this house by this date? So it's combining those motivating factors, combining what's important to them with the education around the terms of the negotiation. Yeah. How about with lead generation?
Well, we decided to be functionary, so we ignored the task.
Okay, tell me more about that.
So lead generation, gotta be consistent. It's gotta be done daily, every day. And then, once we capture a lead, that's when we start building the relationship. That's when we start educating them on the selling or buying process. And, we educate them is the big thing. And then to convert to an appointment, during that educating part, we're sending them, like if it's a buyer, we're sending them,
Listings.
thank you, listings. I wanted to say leads, sending them listings and, just kind of feeding their wants and, encouraging them. But a lot of it was just to keep them informed, educate them and make sure that we follow up. So that's kind of where we're at. You want to add anything else, Liliana? Okay.
Yeah. The only thing that I would add, and it's not really adding, it's sort of elaborating on and then going back again to, we talked about timeliness. So if you say, hey, I'm going to get you this listing, then you need to send them the listing in a timely manner. If they ask you for some piece of information, let me find that out and get it to them as quickly as possible. If you say, I'd like to follow up with you in 3 weeks, is that okay with you? And they say yes, should you follow up in 4 weeks? No, we should follow up in 3 weeks. And so that's where we start to build that trust. That's where we really start to first show them that we are their fiduciary. If we don't start in the lead generation portion, are they really going to believe it as we move through the process with them? Are they really going to have that same trust if we weren't the best version of ourselves from the very beginning? Yeah. And then, so for me, coordinating the sale to closing, there's so many opportunities within the transaction to show that you're a fiduciary. I think one of the biggest ones is when we get to the inspections and when we're looking at the title. And also when we look at their settlement statement, those three key components, we have to really have their best interests at heart. So if there are repairs that need to be made, and I can't look at this as, yeah, but we were under contract and I wanted to get my paycheck. So, hey, this isn't that big of a deal, guys. You know, we've got to make sure that they fully understand what repair is needed, why it's needed, how difficult is it to make, what's the cost associated with that, and how many repairs are there? What's the total cost of all of this? And figure out if we can negotiate that with the other side. And again, going back to what's important to them, what's their motivating factor? And how can we make sure it's a win-win for both parties? But then also on the title, we have to make sure that we're reviewing that title commitment. We're getting it from the closing company. It's their responsibility to make sure that we've got a clean title, that there's things that come up on title that we need to know about, and we've got to figure out, okay, how do we get this resolved? You know, so we just found out there's an easement. I've got to let my client know there's an easement. They may not be comfortable with that. There's a shared driveway. Oh, we didn't realize it was a shared driveway. Are you comfortable? I can't just let that slide to closing and they move in and they're like, there's a shared driveway. You know, they had no idea. So we've got to make sure that we're sharing every piece of information that we come across, but also that we're not just passively receiving information on behalf of our clients. We have to be proactive. We have to learn over time what we're looking for. And we unfortunately will sometimes learn that by not knowing it and missing it. So don't beat yourself up when that happens. Learn from it so that the next time you'll know what to be looking for.
One thing that I must say, you just have to be vigilant in every state of the transaction. Just because you are closing, you think is done. I had a transaction closing that everybody forgot that we asked the seller to move something to the garage. I think it was a water heater or something. And he says, well, I'll give you $500 and you guys do it. And my client says, sure. We forgot to put it in the contract. But I was sitting in closing and I've been thinking there's something else. And then, hey guys, you owe us $500. Oh, the guy says, oh shoot, yes. So yeah, you just always have to be vigilant about every aspect in, since the appointment to closing.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Missing things like, the buyer wanted the home inspection paid at closing because they're gonna get their closing costs covered. And then if I don't make sure that's on the settlement statement, that inspector doesn't get paid, it's not the seller's responsibility. They contributed what they were supposed to contribute. Now that's something that's outstanding for the buyer to take care of. Or if we don't get the home warranty paid for, there's all kinds of things we have to be really aware of. That's why I use the checklist that I use, because it offers me places to put these notes so I don't miss anything. So, hi guys, it's a great time to step in.
It's a great time. Oh, so exciting. Okay, did you already explain what these were?
No.
Okay. Did you overdo the daily successes?
We're just getting ready to.
Great. I'm gonna give each one of you.
You get free stuff?
You get free stuff. Everyone gets 10 envelopes and 10 cards. Some are red and some are black. And if you have a preference, I won't rhyme any more of that, but,
Trade with somebody.
did I give you one? I didn't. What? I'm missing envelopes. Holly, I'll get you some envelopes. Don't you worry.
No, I wasn't supposed to be here.
I'm here. You're good. I'll get you envelopes.
Did you-
So you will get some, you didn't get envelopes?
What's happening?
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
my goodness. Look, I only messed up one, I promise.
Shanna, by the way, can you get Holly registered? She's
Yep.
actually not registered and she thought because she couldn't always be here and I explained that she could watch it later.
Yep, we'll get you registered and taken care of, all good. With your daily successes, this is one of your activities. I will tell you, when you get in the habit of doing Happy Mail or these handwritten cards, business comes from it. Because you're telling somebody thank you, or you're telling somebody that you're thinking of them in a way that you don't normally hear, right? Like how often do you guys get mail outside of Christmas? Not often, right? So my favorite example is, let's say you went door knocking in a neighborhood and you were looking for a buyer need or something like that. You had a great conversation with one of the neighbors and you gave them your information and you left. What a great extra touch for you to do a handwritten card because you talked to them, so you know their address, you know where they live. Hopefully you got their name and you wrote it down, you took note of the conversation and you just say, hey, thanks for taking time out of your day-to-day to chat with me. If anything changes, please let me know. If anybody comes to mind that's looking to buy or sell, please let me know. And then that hits their mailbox 3 or 4 days later. You have now then cemented the memory of you, right? Which sounds a little bit dramatic, but I promise it really works. It's also really great to just send mail out to anybody. Let's say you've got people in your database and you don't have all that contact information. Maybe you're just on social media, or maybe you just have a phone number. Hey, I wanted to mail you something and I didn't have your address. I would love to have your address, right? Now you have added contact information to the leads in your database, which is feeding your database. Anything else to that? Nope. Okay, so every day I'm gonna come back with an armful of blank cards for you to write in. You only get them if you give them to me, right? So if you give me 7, Liliana, I'm gonna give you 7 back.
What about if I give you 15?
You give me 15, I'm gonna mail 15 for you. So I will pay for your postage. Get it done, do it.
So,
Cool.
so I will add, so this is one of the best and easiest ways, right, to start your lead generation, especially for those that haven't done it yet. So if we're gonna be sitting here for an hour after we finish up and we're gonna do our daily activities. And if you're like, I don't wanna make phone calls in front of all these people, you can at least do handwritten cards and start spreading the word that you have started a career in real estate. So this is the easiest thing, and she's made it easy for you by giving you the card, and she's gonna pay for your postage.
Since I just had the headshots, just got the headshots, I haven't ordered the business cards yet. So I'd prefer to send these with business cards in them.
Why don't you send more after your business cards?
Yeah,
Let's,
send one out, and then when you get your business cards, you'll send another one and you'll say, I just got my business cards.
I can give you
Another-
some of mine.
I was thinking maybe I could write them each day and you could just hold them for me until I got the cards to slip in there.
Oh,
I will do whatever you feel you need to do, and get out of your head. Get out of your head, because inaction is the worst thing you could do. So don't make it a perfect thing, right? Imperfect inaction is much better than no action at all,
Okay.
right?
that's fair.
So I'm gonna push you into action. That's what I told you I was gonna do, right? But if that is how you feel, by all means, I'm here for your journey. It just may take a little bit longer, right? Pro tip, if any of you guys do business cards that are also magnets, those go a really long way. People seem to really like those. I'm not one for spending money. I don't like to spend money. I like to do everything as cheap and easy as possible. And that is one that I think it was one of our past Ignite graduates. She had bought the business cards as magnets and put in there, when you put my magnet on your fridge, say a little prayer for me because I'm crazy and I got into real estate or something silly like that. And within 2 weeks, she had her first listing.
Love it.
Doesn't
That's
work for every
cute.
single person, but it does work. And so that's kind of a fun little idea too. Because I know I have a bunch of vendors on my refrigerator right now, and those are the first people I think to call. I literally have a problem, I go to my
for a new
fridge.
magnet. Like I'm always, well, I'm a 4-year-old.
But I don't,
so I have a
I'm
lot
not
of
good
things
at
I've
keeping
been
business
trying
cards though, but I'm good at keeping magnets.
Hey,
Good
pro tip for
idea.
pro tip, right? All right, I will give you back the floor. I will see you friends tomorrow. And I'll add you to the list and give you envelopes upstairs. Okay, see you.
All right, we're gonna
Little bit.
zoom through the rest because I want to make sure we get time to do our handwritten cards. So, the last one of our core competencies is managing your money. Let's talk about how you can serve as a fiduciary for the 6th core competency of a business, manage the money. Managing your money means being responsible about how you handle your finances. Would you trust someone with such a high dollar purchase if they can't manage their own finances? In addition to giving you validity, managing your own money leads to financial security. Financial security provides you the freedom to be discerning about which real estate transactions you become involved in or not, but also when you've managed your own money wisely, you're less concerned about that next paycheck. So you can truly be the fiduciary, you can truly keep your client's best interest at heart because you're not wrapped up in the emotion associated with getting that check, right? There may be times you choose to decline a deal because it doesn't allow you to remain in high integrity with yourself or your client. Recall yesterday, we introduced the KW belief system, the Y4C2Ts. This is your guidepost for knowing how to serve as a fiduciary to your clients. How are you living the Y4C2Ts while serving as a fiduciary for your clients? And how can being a fiduciary take you from being a good agent to a great agent? So I'm gonna just move on because we gotta get through some stuff. But I do want to encourage you to go back to those core values of Keller Williams. And that really does teach us how to best serve our clients and how to be a fiduciary to our clients. So if we're ever in doubt, so I think we talked yesterday about this is my do list and this is my I don't do list. And we can make very clear decisions when we know what we do and what we don't. If we have our core values in front of us and we're faced with a situation, it becomes very clear how we should guide our clients. It becomes very clear what decisions we should make when we know what our values are. In this section, reviewing the success system, you will be introduced to your daily success system, which is part of your daily Ignite course. This gets you into the habit of lead generation while in the company of your fellow Ignite participants, your facilitator, me, and others in the Market Center who will support and help you through your journey. So I've been in Ignite like 4 times. Many times I have skirted on out when it was time to do the lead generation portion. But that's why we're here, right? We're here to get into productivity, to get our first clients and get our paychecks. Or we're trying to reinvigorate our business and we want to have more business this coming year than we had last year. So this is our opportunity to get into the habit of doing the lead generation that we need to be doing. You already learned that your first core competency is lead generation. Without leads, your business cannot sustain itself. In the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, Gary Keller states, what you have to embrace is the fact it is the number of qualified leads you have that will either grow your business, keep your business, or put you out of business. Nothing else about your business will have as big of an impact as the number of leads you have. Why do you think cultivating leads is so important to the success of your business? I think we just heard it, right?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to encourage you to respond, but although lead generation and lead follow-up are the most important priorities you have when running and growing a thriving business, sometimes we may feel uncomfortable to do so, especially as a new agent. Feeling at ease when talking to people you know and don't know about how you can help them with their real estate needs is a skill that takes time to develop. So that's why we're going to do this, because the more conversations we have, the more comfortable we become in sharing our message, right? The first time you call someone to tell them that you're in real estate, it might be super awkward, depending on who it is. But the more times you do it, and you hear how people, okay, I said this, and this is kind of how the person reacted. I said this, and this is the feeling that I got. Over time, you'll tweak that to where it becomes more natural and you'll elicit a better response from the other person. So that's why it's so important to practice. In the first session of Ignite, we introduced the 6 personal perspectives. Let's elaborate on the 6th personal perspective, be accountable. Accountable people achieve results that others can only dream of. This is a quote from the book by Gary Keller, The One Thing. Accountability is a crucial part of achieving your goals. When you report to someone else on your progress to your goals, you gain more focus and motivation. You guys see where we're going with this. Think of accountability as a process. It is difficult to maintain drive over the long term, but when you must defend your activities to an objective observer, your accountability partner, it becomes easier to stay focused. Accountability is about getting and implementing feedback. You must take time on a regular planned basis to meet with whomever is holding you accountable, to look at your numbers and to refocus your efforts. So when I went out on my own about 2.5-ish years ago, I immediately knew that I needed to get a coach. I no longer had a team. I no longer had someone that every day was asking me, what was I doing? You know, how are you spending your time? Who are you talking to? What do you have coming up? What's going on with that transaction? So I had to get into coaching. And as most of us know, coaching is, you have a contract of 5 transactions, and a lot of people will do 5 transactions and just walk away. I've chosen to stay in coaching because I need the accountability, and I know that about myself. And really, the truth is, we all need accountability. But especially over the 4 weeks of Ignite, I think we could stand to commit to having an accountability partner. We may not have to talk every day, but whatever works best for your guy, you know, you pick someone, what works for your schedule, at least try to touch base 2 to 3 times a week. What's so important is that we do get in our own heads. You know, we tell ourselves stories that aren't true. We have our limiting beliefs. And we also sometimes will pad for ourselves what we've actually accomplished. You know, we'll tell ourselves, well, I talked to so-and-so, and that one person did kind of mention maybe on the, you know, we want to make ourselves feel better. But when I have to tell that to Shanna, she's like, no, girl, like that's not a lead, you know? And so it makes me be more honest with myself. And she helps me to refocus my efforts so that I know where I should be placing more time and energy. So that's what a partner will do for you. Speaking of accountability, you cannot do it alone. For this reason, in Ignite, we partner up with another participant to help each other succeed. One of the greatest benefits of having an accountability partner is that it increases your productivity and keeps you on track as you check in with your goals. You will provide accountability for your partner, and your partner will provide accountability for you. We suggest that you follow these guidelines that are listed in your participant guide when you provide and receive accountability. Okay, who wants to just read me one of these things on the list?
Provide a safe place to share.
So we listen and we give honest, objective feedback, but we do it in a kind and respectful way, right? Somebody read me another one.
Set a frequency. That's a biggie.
Mm-hmm.
Be consistent even with your accountability.
Exactly. Whatever you said that you were gonna do, if you said we're gonna talk on Tuesday at 7, you both better be there Tuesday at 7. One of the things to keep in mind is that the people that are in this program with you, someday you'll work the other side of a transaction with them. And you need to show them that you're a person who shows up. Because what if they have 3 contracts? And they're all fairly similar, and they have the opportunity to go back to one of you and say, this is how you could improve, and you could get that contract for your client. But they know that you were not, they were your partner, but you never showed up, right? So we're building that trust even with other people now. So yes, consistency, frequency, and showing up when you say you're gonna show up. All right, let's do one more.
We did that one already. Respect each other and the process.
Yes. Yeah. So we already said we're going to respect each other and what they share. We want to be a safe place, but also we're not all going to be good at it from the get-go. And that's okay. There's a process between now and the end. We're going to get better and better. We're going to get more and more consistent. And that's just part of it.
Before you go, I like the specific feedback one too.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Give specific feedback. Yes. Yeah, because how else do we know?
and be
what we
open
need
to that
do
constructive
differently?
criticism.
Mhm. So, yeah, and I will say, you know, especially when it comes to, when you're sharing maybe about a conversation that you had and somebody says, well, here's a way you could do it differently. Here's something I might have said, you know, be open to that. It is, when you're already uncomfortable doing something, it's easy to get offended, but let's commit to be unoffendable over the next 4 weeks.
And I think it's all about being refined because like you were saying, as you go on, you're gonna change some things that you're constantly refining your craft.
Right.
So be open to refining. Don't think of it as criticism, but just, you know,
Yeah,
opportunity to get better.
shaking off the specks, getting shined up, right? Iron sharpens iron. Earlier, you heard everyone introduce themselves. Now look around the room and pick someone to be your accountability partner.
Let's
And
do it.
exchange
Dave.
contact information as well.
Tuesday.
Yeah, he's Dave over there.
Where's Amy?
Name tag.
She doesn't even have her license yet. Is she
Why don't we need a name
doing
tag?
the daily stuff? She sure is. She's gonna call people and she's gonna let people know that she's getting ready to get into real estate.
There you go. Alligator.
Oh, wait.
Which is really smart, by the way. I just
Yeah.
figured because we're in the same.
Yeah, we're in the,
I'm
You should be
getting ready
ready
to
to
get into real
All right.
estate.
Anybody, anyway.
I'm in training. I'm studying my course. I'm getting ready to take my test. Why not? Yeah. Honestly, it'll be a fun conversation starter.
Groovy.
We'll be like, oh, girl, tell me all about it. She's like, oh, God.
No, I
Yeah,
can't.
everybody feels that way. All right, so make sure that when you choose someone that you also have exchanged contact information, share your phone numbers and your emails.
Are you in our MLS? You're not at the Lake of the Ozarks. This is Stockton?
Stockton.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in the MLS.
Okay.
What'd you say? I'm so sorry.
Email and phone number.
Oh.
Exchange email and phone number. In the participant guide, you'll see a list of 6 questions. In the coming days, each time you check in with your accountability partner, you will ask each other these 6 questions to help them assess their progress. How did you do? Is this in your guide? How did you do? How do you feel about that? Did you have any opportunity for improvement? How will you address those opportunities? What were your wins? And how will you celebrate your wins? For now, share your current business goal with each other and how accomplishing that goal will impact your lives and what it means to you. Oh, goodness. Okay. Just take a few minutes to share a little bit. We shared a lot yesterday. If we take a couple of minutes, and again, this goes back to the motivating factors, right? Just like we search for our clients' motivating factors, when you've got an accountability partner, they need to know what your motivating factor is so that when you are hemming and hawing and not really doing what you said you're gonna do, they can go back and remind you why you're doing this in the first place. So just, you can pick an income goal, you can pick a transaction goal, you can pick a mile marker type goal, just share that with each other real quick.
Come on.
All right. So never since. So I'll get you plugged in. So any goals that you've been?
Oh, I think it was the next one. Or the.
What's the number right here?
569.
Sorry.
9417.
Thank you.
I did, because my
I
name.
got your name and your number.
Great question.
What are your goals, Dave?
So what is, let's do accountability check-ins 3 times a week, or 4 times a week.
I'm gonna be here most of the time, every day.
Yeah, let me do it. Tomorrow I'm showing kid house.
Yeah, it's,
Okay, so let's do.
Just whenever we're here. checking.
Okay. Every time we'll be.
No, so
You did tell me, I remember now.
I've been.
I won't share mine.
Yeah, so
because you're gonna go back.
I might call you or something. All right, so we'll do that, because we really can't necessarily do it in churches to look at. Either at their-
Sure, yes.
If it gets out.
Right.
Then I started another job.
Yes.
So there's-
So, really, you may be able to get through it. It's not saying what you're doing is wrong. I mean, I would say.
So why?
Yes, no, I hear
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your drive? What's your motive?
I tell you, Brad, I haven't seen since I had this tumor.
They wouldn't care.
It's always told me you're not even gonna use me.
I still kids are growing.
Like, I don't know.
Once they get better.
Where I need to know what's going
It'll probably happen.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yes.
I promised myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And don't put people on.
So I got licensed.
Right, exactly.
Okay, and
So
you.
it'll go out, and then
Yeah.
Just to help people.
Just make.
until that.
So how many?
What about-
Yeah.
Do you have any monetary goals you want to try to hit?
So.
Needs.
So what are your goals? Just on this,
Yeah,
this out.
okay, my goal.
So because you're my
I'll be happy to do
Every other
Friday.
Okay. Yes.
That's the basic.
Right?
Let's do a,
The youngest is 19.
Okay, all right.
so really, I mean, let's do $11,000.
But, so my wife.
Usually do don't do it on.
Yeah, come on. Match me,
No,
250.
this is, well, no.
And that's what I did yesterday. to take it.
Like on your own personal page or what?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
That's like, well, this should be constant.
Right.
But
Do
it's,
everything, do you contract?
No, I do my contracts through
Okay.
Onward. They do the transaction for me.
Right.
And then, I'm building a team.
so
I'm
anyway,
right down by myself.
we have some money, we have some.
Okay.
We've got some.
Mhm.
So that we can make several.
Yeah.
You wanna be part of that?
Okay, nice.
Yeah. I just need to survive. Which
I got
basically why I
someone with
worked
me,
out.
I got somebody.
One transaction.
Okay.
This is what we want.
All right. I
On
like
social
it.
media.
And I'm working on.
They've been giving
So
some
I,
value.
You know what?
do me and then I can.
You can find free downloads
You're gonna do-
on.
Just maybe
Downloads
because
on Instagram.
she wasn't the right person, I just want somebody else.
Well, we're gonna be here.
Cost me nothing.
So yeah, I just wanna check in daily Monday through Friday.
Any negotiation that I do is with my client.
Time and location of first one tomorrow at 11:55.
I'm gonna get the house and commission is gonna be lower, but.
What is the date tomorrow?
Thing, yeah.
The
it doesn't-
18th,
The
right?
commission isn't, the commission, the money is not necessarily the drive, you know,
Yes,
but
show up a little bit early.
yeah, it
so we
helps,
talk.
you know,
Let's make it
yeah.
11:50.
Here's mine. I was thinking about it today. So I'm gonna do 400 GC.
So, my goal is.
400K GCI to get a net income of 250. So I've got $150,000 in debt I want to pay off. Some of this is medical insurance, it's not medical insurance, medical bills and some stuff from my wife. She passed. So yeah, then it takes about 59, I was doing 40, but then I thought to myself.
Anything.
Really?
No, we did
29,700.
We'll do more after
And then
that.
we'll-
So, 'cause we have.
Not much.
So I want to.
And then I wanna take a friend of mine, on a train trip
And we
to,
can't do that.
Northwest, up into,
And so, and my house.
Wyoming and
So what brings you to real estate?
that area, to Seattle up that way. So it's about a $5,000 trip. And then,
Yes,
My
you could
son,
do,
you wanna keep driving on the road.
or you could do like NetJets, which is money. So he's looking into those things, but.
So I don't know what it was.
We have a house.
But
So
to help our kids a lot.
But that was Scott's way
Yeah,
of
I
saying,
know,
okay, it's time for you
they're,
to, you know.
they're talking about extending it to 67, I just hope they do it in the next year and a half.
Get off the
They
truck.
may end up doing it eventually, but really do it in time for us.
Please get back on the truck. So anyway, the house now, I've got I wanna pay 25,000 back to that.
Anyway, so that's my,
Keep all of it.
that's my main.
So then, and then another thing was about 10,300. And
I was
just
only 3 of
in
the
property.
kids.
Put that towards investment
Yeah.
property. And then next year, when I do this again, or maybe double it.
Okay,
then
that
I'll,
sounds good.
you know, start focusing on.
No, no comment, just bad decision.
Commercial properties, investment properties, things like that. So that's my.
So my name is Ann Carrick. ANN.
So to do that, do you need more clients? Do you need
Phone
to,
number 417.
you get new clients? or do you
69.
I do new clients, I'm always making cold
And then
calls.
I'm.
This right here is gonna be anywhere from 53
Now, I do have some side.
to say 75.
So,
units of land.
thinking about as far as real estate.
And that's with, this 53 is 7,500 for a transaction. We know that that's high end. So this right here would be probably closer to the realistic world, like maybe 45.
So
5.
It would be helpful.
Okay, guys, we're gonna move along.
So
I hate to cut you off.
That's what that is.
That's one of those things.
So what I want everyone to do,
In here.
I want everyone to stand up and shake it off.
Shake it off.
All right, I'm shaking it off.
Stand up. Are we on camera? Shake it out.
Shake it, baby. Kristen, shout.
Kind of get your energy back. And I'm gonna quickly run through how you're gonna spend your next hour. Okay, you can sit back.
Yep, that works.
So for your daily success system, today we're gonna focus on the first 3, your 10 conversations, your 10 contacts added, and your 10 handwritten notes. So we're not yet going to focus on social media engagement. And I do think that may be part of next week's section. I can only imagine that that's why Maria is assigned to next week, because she's our social media queen. And then we will talk a little bit about enrichments if we have some time to go over that. That's kind of those extra things that you can do in your spare time just to learn more, gain more knowledge about real estate, things like going out and previewing houses. If you can't measure it, you can't improve it. So as you are doing your daily activities, it's gonna be important to track. So how many people did you call? Who did you call? How many people actually answered the phone and you had a conversation with them? How many were you able to get any appointments? So, as you're calling people, at some point, you don't have to do your calls today. You can start with your handwritten cards, whatever you're comfortable with. But as you're calling people and you're letting them know, hey, I've just got into real estate. I'm making these calls because I want to spark my career. I want to let you know what I'm doing. If you happen to know anybody, or if you happen to hear of anybody looking to buy or sell, will you please think of me? If that somehow led to a referral and then you called that person, you got an appointment, great. I want you to let us know that you got an appointment. Or if you're more of the type of person that wants to get in front of people and wants to nurture relationships and wants to have that conversation with someone face to face and you get set a coffee date, that's great too. Mark that as an appointment, okay? So whatever is gonna be the most suitable to how you want to do business. But make sure you're tracking so you know, there's no way to know if what you're doing is effective if you're not tracking it in some way. Okay, so we're gonna skip this Ford thing. Everybody was here yesterday. We talked about this yesterday. So if you call someone, a natural way of having a conversation is using Ford. Bring up family, bring up occupation, bring up recreation, bring up their dreams. It will help you to have a more natural conversation. It'll also help you to figure out what's important to them, what's going on with them right now, and it might be a place where you can uncover a future real estate need. And then we're also gonna get into our database. So hopefully everybody has their computer. I'm hoping that you guys have some folks that you're planning to reach out to. What I wanna help you do over the next hour is if you've got someone in your phone that you're wanting to write a handwritten card to, but you don't have them in your database, well, in the process of writing that card, let me help you get them into the database as well. If you're not sure how to add a contact, let me help you do that. Because as you're going through calling, texting, writing cards, each of those people need to be in your database and you need to make a note. I had a phone call with this person on this date, or I sent a card to this person on this date. Because then the next time they pop in your mind, you can go to their contact and you can say, oh, that's when I talked to them. Gosh, that's been a while. I need to talk to them again. We can also set a task to talk to them, to try talking to them again.
Show up as a tab.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's make sure that we're working in our database as we go through these activities.
Is there a way to find people's mailing address online?
There's Landglide.
What do you use?
Landglide.
Landglide. Is that a subscription?
Yeah, I think it's like $99 a year or something like that.
99?
No, $9, $9.99 or something like that.
There are some fast people
Read
search.
that, keep that month.
Um,
Read it.
It's free.
There's some other ones. I'll text Maria here in a minute and I'll get some of the other ones. Yeah. And also, if they live in Green County, we can look them up on the assessor site.
Just
You
give
can
us some
address
thought.
from there. Yeah, there's definitely ways we can find them.
You can on Christian County, you can on any of them, but they have to be homeowners.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, they have to be current homeowners.
Okay.
Now, Fast People Search, though, it's not always
your last
for
name?
sure gonna be accurate, but if you kind of have a general idea of where you think they live, you can usually hone in on it.
Okay.
Okay, so of course, the goal of Ignite is to equip you with mindset, skills, and tools that you need to secure your first appointment and to reach a successful close on the buying and selling of a house. Your daily success system tracker includes 10 conversations with your sphere, people you know and who know you. 10 contacts added to your database. So you probably have 10 people in your sphere who know you, but that you have not yet added to your database. So let's put those 10 people into your database. And then we can express our gratitude. Maybe you called someone on the phone, and then you send a follow-up card that says, "I'm so glad I got to talk with you today. I really missed you. It's a great conversation." Or you can send that card to let them know that you've gotten into real estate and you would appreciate their referrals. And then tomorrow, actually, it says we will cover, oh, great, I'm gonna cover the 10-5-1 model of social media. That'll be good for you guys. And then the other enrichment offered at the end of each lesson is in your participant guide. Okay.
Is it Liliana? That's her name? Yeah. There's a plug-in back here if you want a table.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you-
Okay, so I must read this to you verbatim, okay? Today, you're going to make calls to your sphere and people in your database. Before you can make any calls or texts, please remember to honor the TCPA and do not call lists, including those of your market center and state. If you have any questions or concerns about this, please consult your market center or attorney to ensure compliance. Refer to the pages at the beginning of your participant guide for more details. These guidelines are for your protection as well as for the protection of your clients. Let's review the importance of the Telephone Consumer Protection Act and the do not call restrictions for when you make calls and texts to your database. Turn to the pages in your participant guide, and let's go over this. Okay, so if someone gave you their phone number and it's in your phone,
Yes.
you probably are okay to call them.
In the very beginning, I think.
Oh, it is, you're right,
But
it
if
is.
you don't have their phone number and you look it up online, you might want to make sure they're not on the do not call list. Ways that you can access the do not call list: subscribe to the registry, check before you call, update your call list regularly, honor consumer requests, and know the state and federal laws. Okay. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. That's your affirmation, okay? So I want you to say that to yourself at the beginning of each of your lead generation sessions. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. Turn to someone close to you and say this affirming message out loud.
Oh, boy.
Now practice introducing yourself. Hello, my name is Amy with the Keller Williams office in Springfield, Missouri, and the collective team. So that's if we want to, we've all introduced ourselves to each other,
Okay.
10 times already, so we're not going to do that again.
I'm still writing that one. I'm sorry.
Oh, me too.
Which one?
That
Oh,
one.
I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me.
Oh, there's something more.
Okay, so what I want you to do first is I want each person to just make a list of 10 people. And that 10 people can be people that you're gonna call or that you're gonna write a card to. Just make a list of 10 people. Please do not overthink it, right? We're all gonna get in our head and we're gonna be like, they don't wanna hear from me. They're gonna think it's weird if they're not. Okay, just make a list of 10 people. And if it makes you feel better on this very first day, make it the 10 people closest to you. As you're writing that down, I'm going to give you a little information. So each time you're lead generating, not just today, not just during Ignite, but for all perpetuity. Is that the right word? Perpetuity, forever and ever. Anytime you lead generate, you're gonna wanna spend a little bit of time preparing. You wanna spend a certain amount of time taking action. So that's placing your calls, doing your social media, sending your texts, writing your cards. And then you're gonna end your session with maintenance. So that's making sure you get notes into your database and setting tasks so that you know when to follow up with that person and what you talked about the last time. So I think one of the things that the mistakes that I made in the beginning during lead gen time is I would say, okay, I'm gonna spend this much time lead generating. And then it would take me so long to prepare. I never quite set the right amount of time for things. And then I would get frustrated. But then when I realized that preparation and maintenance are actually part of it, it's just a matter then of setting the appropriate amount of time for each activity within your overall session. So your lead generation time might look something like this. You would begin with your affirming message. You would use the conversations that you have practiced to make calls. We haven't practiced any conversations, but you will over time. And you might call someone to suggest a coffee date. You might say, hey, let's meet up to reconnect. Let's take our kids to the park. Let's go out to lunch. Let's go get a glass of wine, whatever it may be. And then make notes about that conversation on your sheet and your tracker. And then later you want to make sure you put that into your database. And you might spend about 45 minutes calling as many people as you can. And then you could reflect and you could say, what will I do differently tomorrow? And what do I need help with?
Question. So obviously my sphere is not only local, and I know we're supposed to call people, or we're supposed to still let people that are far away know about who we are, because we could get referrals of people moving into the area. But what is-
Or you can also refer them to an agent in their area.
There you go. I'd forgotten about that, but yes. But what's the priority level? Do they get the same amount of the people far away? Do they get the same amount of contact, of care, of nurture?
If you put it in command, you can put them in like I usually put the address and do a neighborhood. It's called a neighborhood, what does this?
Search.
I don't know, like a search. And then I could, like, here's one in Nixa, and I put the suggested neighborhoods, and I click all the subdivisions that they might like. And then, I don't know if this gives them my email, does it give them my idea when you?
Yeah, so eventually you'll learn how to put people on smart plans, and one of the smart plans is neighborhood nurture. And that will show them, that's a good touch point. It'll send an email that'll tell them homes that have sold in their neighborhood or their surrounding area so that they can, have that information, so they can have an idea of what's going on with their own home value. But really, and that's gonna be up to you, the level of priority that you wanna set with each group of people. So now, you know, I'm a little farther into this, so the way that I prioritize is past clients first. Anyone who's already transacted with me is the people that I'm gonna do the most stuff for. Then it's gonna be my biggest fans, the people that I know would wanna give me referrals, that wanna see me succeed, that wanna make sure my family's taken care of. So I have a list of about 50 of my top raving fans who are people outside of my past clients.
Right.
And then I move on to my bigger sphere beyond that.
Okay.
I tend to, honestly, me personally, I communicate with people who are out of the area more on social media than I do via call, text, whatever, unless it's someone I'm really close to. I think everyone's got to be different. It also has to be based on your situation. So for me, I've lived here almost my entire life. So most of my people are here. If you've lived somewhere else, you may place a higher value on them than I would, because I don't have that many people outside of this area.
That's fair.
Those are also great people to practice on,
Right?
okay, just to practice the conversations.
People out of the state. I can't mess with them, right? Having a Missouri license, or does that matter?
The
No,
referrals.
yeah, you can. That's what Ann was actually just talking about, because they might, if they used to live here and they've moved out of state, but they know somebody else who's living in another state and they just heard that they're gonna be moving back, that could be a referral source. Or if they live in another state, but they're gonna move from one town to another, you can refer an agent to them and get a referral fee. So yes, it's okay to contact people in another state.
Okay,
Did you say
You
out of
can't
the
sell
states?
them,
No, Missouri, or
Oh.
live out of the state.
you can't
Oh.
sell them a house in another state unless you're licensed there. But you can operate via referral.
Connections. Because KW is nationwide.
Worldwide. Global.
What you sent me? Oh, okay. Very good.
So as you guys are making your list, just raise your hand, reach out for help. If you're wanting to start adding some people to your database and you need help with that. Or if you need to see how to add a note or how to add a task, it's probably not gonna apply to you right now. You're just gonna take really good notes in your participant guide so that later
Right.
you can go back and add that.
And I can start getting emails, because I don't really have emails on anybody, so I can kind of shoot a message, right, and be like, just trying to.
So something that you could do is, there's all kinds of things that we could do. You could call them and say, hey, just wanted to tell you I'm getting ready to get into real estate. Or you could send them a text and you could say, I just got into real estate. I'm going through my training course. I've been challenged to let 10 people know that I'm in real estate and to get their emails to add to my newsletter list. Would you please be one of my people? Then they're doing you a favor. And then just make sure that you jot all that down really neatly so that when you do have command and you start your neighborhood nurture or your newsletter, you can get them. All right, so that's pretty much it. You guys are gonna work on that between now for about 30 minutes. We'll do that for about 30 minutes and just reach out for help.
So I made this list of 10 people in order to start with them on either calling or
or conversing,
Hey, Jason, how you doing? This is Brian.
writing.
Doing good, doing good.
Yeah, look, he's on the phone.
Yes.
Yeah, whatever you
Mhm.
want to do with each person,
Okay,
or do them in order, you know. Call them, follow up with a text, follow up with a handwritten card.
okay. I'll find out. Did you give them a pre-approval letter? That'd be great, because we're gonna make an offer on them. I don't know. Yeah, I think, yeah, but it's just Brad Middlemiss at KW.com. Okay, sounds great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Just roll out across the floor and we just do it.
Yeah, bring it back in.
So. I've been in a little bit of a situation. Just explain what I'm doing. So I just resigned from my current job. No, not really. They won't care. But I've been with them for 20 anyway. So I'm actually talking to my boss on Friday and tell him I'm officially resigning. I think I can get past February 1st to get paid.
Yeah.
But.
Unless you guys. When do you feel like it's the time that you could first be comfortable?
Well, so the thing is, I got 150 supporters, churches mainly, that if they find out through social media, through the grapevine, that we've left.
Yeah.
And not through the official right channels, they'll get a letter from the recorders. And
So you really don't feel comfortable until you actually left, or
Yeah.
let them, at least let them.
yeah, so I mean, there's a handful of people that know.
So how about this?
Mhm.
I've got an idea for you. How about you spend this time doing handwritten cards? Then that'll give you time also to get business cards ordered. You can get the business cards in, you can have them addressed, you can have them all the way ready to go. And first day that you're able to let people know, you'll have this
Yes.
big stack of cards. that
The
you're
girl
gonna fill
asked
out.
me, she asked me for my email list yesterday, so she
It'll
can send
be
it to
like-
me, but I never got it.
Anyways,
That's
that's
what I
kind of
would
like,
Yeah.
so I have this is mainly family members and people, close friends that know.
It doesn't have it because
which
you're not on
works
board yet.
on it.
The only
Yeah,
person
right.
who knows is
Exactly.
Shannon.
Right.
And then the other
I gave
people
it to
just
her.
start
She said she was
gathering
gonna do it.
their
Oh, right.
information, their.
Well, I would check in with her on your way out.
But she did kind of
addresses,
mess up on the email.
say-
at
Yeah,
first. She was
well, I
like,
mean, I
I
need
was
to
like, no,
build,
it
my
says,
database
but
is just
I guess I'm
very
gonna check.
skeletal.
Yeah.
You know, there's not much to it, so.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know them because I have a database with our supporters and
Yeah.
of like 600 people. So maintaining that, all of that needs to be beefed up. Do you know anything about Keller Williams International stuff?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay.
Depends.
Because we still have,
Oh, yeah,
because we were in England and here's the
Yeah.
England map.
yeah.
So we still have,
People all over.
it's not citizenship, but we have like a green card
Yeah.
for England.
Yeah,
And I have no idea how any, referrals, how any of that could work.
Yeah, so it does work. And so what you'll do is, and I would encourage you, because you already know that you have relationships over there, I would go ahead and start looking for great agents in that area and connecting with them.
Yeah.
So one of the things you can do is there's a Facebook group called I think it's called Keller William Referrals or something like that. And you can just say, hey, I'm in Springfield, Missouri. This is the area that we used to live in. I'm looking to connect with, we've got contacts over there still, and I'm looking to connect with agents in that area in case I find out that one of my contacts is looking for an agent. And then you can actually refer your English contact to an English agent and get a referral fee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So it does work internationally?
Yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah.
It works totally different over there. I mean, there's. Like the brokers make all the money and they're estate agents, they call it estate agents.
Hey, how you doing? This is Brad with Tri-Lake Realty here in the Palmdale, Stockton area. And we're just calling around the area looking for people that might be considering buying or selling real estate this year. So if you know of anybody or maybe yourself, give me a call back, 816-520-69.
Hey Laura, this is Liliana. It's been a long time since I talked to you. I hope everything is okay, and I hope everything's going great with your house. Just wanted to check in and see how you guys are doing, and if there's anything I can help you guys do, just give me a call. Bye.
And it can be 12 people long.
Oh, yeah.
And you can be 6 months, 8 months waiting for someone, 6 people down the chain.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
So
It's
the most
crazy.
that I've had
Mhm.
is like 4.
Oh, but it
We'll
can
have
be
like-
12,
yeah.
15 people.
Sure.
And
Everybody's trying to make a move.
it's a nightmare. I mean, property stuff. And it's such an old country. They have such old archaic laws that,
And homes.
and homes, yeah, home and row houses that are connected,
Yeah.
like shared walls, shared, like, so one house. And you can go up in the attic and you can look. There's no shared. You don't have all the ceiling.
Yeah.
It's just open.
You can get to somebody else's house.
Mhm. Then you have old covenants that are 150 years old, like ancient stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's different. I just didn't know.
We were in Greece in October and our driver was like, I live in a house that's 1,500 years old and it doesn't have electricity. He's like, but I'm just there for the summer and I'm mostly out driving, so it's fine. And I was like, okay.
Not too many of that in England. I think there's some, but
We'll work on the database.
yeah, okay.
And get started on handwritten cards and just hold them,
Yeah.
just have them ready. And practice your conversations with your close friends and families.
Yeah.
Hey, do you care if I call and role play with you a little bit,
Hey, how's it going? Doing great. Just got off the phone with Jason. He's gonna send over a pre-approval letter. And if you want, we can write that contract, or not contract, but write the offer. Okay, because he said the big thing was the permanent foundation, and then I need to find out if it's been moved more than once, so I can find that out, but yeah, so you want to go full price, or what are you thinking?
Do you think we could get 65, or do you think that's too low?
Let me do a search around the area and just see what they've been selling for. I think that might be a little bit low, but we could probably come down to maybe 69 or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay, let me check on it and I'll get back with you.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, bye.
Hey, Gabe, this is Liliana. How are you? Good. How's doing in this cold weather? Oh my God, isn't it terrible? Oh, I know. How are the neighbors? Do you like it?
Should have probably done a rough draft before they.
You realize you're doing it right.
Hmm?
You realize you're doing it right. Real estate.
I'm doing it. I'm getting emails.
Cool. That's part of it.
Sure, anytime. Oh. Oh, really? I can't wait to see it. Oh, good.
What? That's 1 out of 10. Keep going, girl.
Oh, but you have to be used to it because you're so beautiful. I'm pretty sure everybody hates you. I know. Mhm. Oh. Okay. Uh-huh.
So why construction? Are you just?
Uh-huh. Huh.
So it's not.
Uh-huh.
Like if you needed to know what's the name of it, then you go to the website.
Mhm. Oh my gosh, it's been, 2023 was hard for me. I had some health issues. I had a tumor removed from my brain, so. But I'm great. I'm going back to work. I had to learn how to walk and swallow and all that, yeah. Oh, it's okay. But hey, I'm alive and I'm working now, so, yeah. So I'm ready to get out and have fun because I've been stuck at home. Mhm. Oh. Ugh. Uh-huh. Yeah, well, why not? I mean, you always like them. Yeah. Oh.
You couldn't say Hope Shields Realty. You can't name yourself that.
Uh-huh.
And then LLC with that name, and you can't mark yourself that way. Are you allowed to use property? Yeah. It's not like. Any kind of.
Call me, yeah, anytime. Yeah. Sounds great. Yeah. Oh, well, good.
I would ask Nicole, this would ask Nicole's definitely gonna know, or Rachel, you just want to be really sure.
Huh.
But I would-
Gosh, well, yeah, that's not nice, but you have friends.
Hey,
It's not
Michelle,
just
what's going
them.
on?
So It also has been so cold, I don't wanna go out. Oh, it's so cold. It's
Keller
horrible.
Williams in Springfield working. And it was just, just give you a call, check on, oh, what is their name? Barbara and, how are they getting along?
Right. Uh-huh,
Mhm.
uh-huh. Oh.
Cool. So you think they're? gonna
Well,
do
just
something,
call
or
me
they
and I'll
just
bring a bottle of wine and we'll sit down and have some wine.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, sounds fantastic. Well, good talking to you. Thank you. How's your mom?
Right.
Your aunt? Is your aunt, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
what?
Yeah,
Where is she now?
yeah. He's kind of careful like that. He's kind of,
Uh-huh, yeah. Uh-huh. Oh,
yeah. Okay,
oh,
cool. Yeah.
where did she go?
Yeah. I just,
No way.
I don't know.
Oh my
I thought they had to be
gosh.
out in April or in October. I don't know what they're doing. Oh.
Right.
Mhm.
Did she sell her house or what?
Okay. All right, well, I'm sure we'll find something, but I
Hmm,
appreciate you working with them a
Oh.
lot.
so she likes the apartment?
So how's your health? You doing okay?
Well, good. Well, good. And it's closer to you. It's not far away. Uh-huh.
Oh, brother.
Well, call me anytime. Okay. Sounds fantastic. Okay, Gay. I'll talk to you later. Uh-huh. Bye-bye.
Good. Well, come work for me and I'll give you 90-10. No kidding.
So I just
Anyway,
sent a
Yeah, so
Facebook message to someone I
trying-
know. And said, hey,
I'm
we need to
trying
get
to,
lunch. and
Realty powered by Keller
I
Williams
do
now,
sell it
so, but
online.
anyway.
He's someone I've
Yeah,
kind
so
of met.
anyway, I just wanted to say, hey,
So-
so I'm glad you're doing well and
So I just wrote him, hey, let's lunch on time. you
like I
know.
said, just wanted to say, hey.
Do I think
There
that's
you
an
go.
appointment? Yes.
Well, yes, I know that, but how long do you wait before you say, hey, what do you think about lunch again? I mean, is it a week, 3 days, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
So he's in,
Like if he doesn't follow up,
right, if he doesn't say
respond.
anything, yeah.
I'll wait a couple days and just say, hey, just
Couple
check it back
days.
in
So today's Wednesday, maybe Friday or Monday, or it doesn't matter. to you.
Friday.
Friday?
Yeah, I'll just wait.
yeah, it's.
a Couple days and then check and
yeah,
say, hey,
that's
just
tough.
checking back
I
in.
mean, I did the same thing.
Want to see about
Yeah.
that lunch.
Then we can start thinking about, oh, you know what, there are quite a few people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean-
I am dealing with it too, still not that you're Ted, but you know, my situation is like, I thought it was over, but the holidays were up there.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
mean.
Or you need triggers because sometimes it is hard.
Yeah.
And I was thinking groups.
All right,
What
well,
groups
let's get
am I
back,
involved in?
yeah.
So you were all-
Yes.
I
So
do
that
appreciate it.
place.
Hard life, yeah, so she's better off. Could you imagine being married to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
So as soon as he wraps up his call, we're gonna wrap up for the day because there's a team meeting in here at 3. Did anybody set any appointments?
I have a dinner date and 5 emails.
You sent 5 emails?
I
Oh, you
have-
got 5
I've got 5
emails?
Hey, good job.
Challenge to
You
get
get a
email
dinner
addresses.
date?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Liliana,
Yeah.
what'd you do? What'd you do?
I'm gonna have wine with an ex-client, a crazy one, but I guess I'll.
But the wine will make it all better.
Right.
You wrote a card.
This. Oh, I wrote a card too.
I worked on my email list, I sent a message,
I
and I
did
found
work on
out
my
that
list.
maybe
Yeah.
connections over in England that you can
Hmm.
work with, so.
Right. Richard, have you got a win?
I got 5 responses,
I know.
5 messages.
You've already got
Perfect.
5, so-
That's
There is,
No problem.
Asia friend
Yeah.
here
I'm in
that moved to England.
Now 5 people know you're in real estate,
But
right?
anyway,
Yeah, well,
yeah, I just want to say.
He's
hi.
a missionary.
50 now by now.
What's his name?
That I sent out.
The 5 over
No,
stuff.
no. I-
Two-way
I'm here
conversation.
doing
go.
Just kind of
Yeah,
doing some
yeah, how about you,
refreshing
what's a
stuff like
win?
that. But I like coming into it because, you know, there's a lot of help.
To
Versus.
refer a young man. Okay, go to Connect.
All right,
Okay,
talk to you later.
there is a referral page and there is a map there. And it tells you
Put 2 people in his.
all the
database.
offices in the whole world.
I did work on my database too. a little bit.
So-
Got some addresses in there.
Because I'm from Santa
Now that I
Maria.
know how to find them.
So what I do
So
is
you
just
found, and you felt like
go
you found them, and you felt like those were the right
and-
ones?
Yes.
You got them in your database?
research
Yes.
agents there and send them a
I set
referral.
a
Hey,
coffee date.
when you,
and I
reach
reached
down
out
anybody,
for
they
oh,
can send
hold
you
on,
and you
let's
can
see.
send them. You, at least you make that contact.
No, that was one of
So,
our
I-
watchers.
You know what that is.
So I
It's
set a
the,
coffee date and I reached out
It's not
for
a
a
connect, it's,
wine date.
Connect,
And
okay.
then somebody's writing a
Connect.
contract.
Connect over there is, are you?
That's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, referrals.
So
Gonna
he'll
do that. I got-
soon, he'll be doing one of his 20%, right? He's
That's-
gonna
yeah.
negotiate a contract.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about online? Can anybody hear me online? Any wins? Any wins? Anybody still on there? I don't even know if they're still here.
It's just referrals.
Melissa, did you have a win?
Okay. Enroll, okay.
So, Evan and I connected to be accountability partners, so that's when.
Awesome. I'm so glad that you guys did that. Hey, wait, that's being proactive.
Can you go to my?
Did you do any handwritten cards or make any calls or texts?
I did not, but I have my list together, so.
Perfect. That's our first step. We gotta prepare. Tomorrow you'll be ready to take action.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you for responding. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, so we've gotten our first little taste of our daily success system. So now until the end of Ignite, this is what we'll be doing. We'll have about 2 hours of teaching and 2 hours of time to do our activities. Today, we only got 1 hour because of there's a meeting in here, but the other days, this will go from 2 to 4. So just keep adding people to your list, keep thinking about who you want to connect with and how you want to connect with them. So whether it's cards, calls, texts, emails, social media, and
10
cards
cards,
tomorrow, we'll learn about social media.
10 cards every day.
That's the goal.
I don't
I
have
don't feel like the
addresses.
card is suitable for every situation or every person.
Tomorrow, we could work on
I
that.
don't have addresses.
Tomorrow we'll work
And,
on that. I'll help you, I'll show you some resources where we can try to get some addresses.
Where do you get your business cards from, Amy?
Vistaprint.
Different.
And
Really?
then I think that if you talk to Nicole, she'll actually help you get them ordered.
Oh, okay. I've worked with Vistaprint before on other stuff, so.
She has like a basic Keller Williams template that she can just plug in your information and make it really easy.
Oh,
Maria designs ours because she wants them to look a certain way with our brand, so she
Right.
designs ours and orders them from Vistaprint.
right.
But Nicole's come from Vistaprint too.
Okay.
But if you want kind of like a, basic red, black and white, Keller Williams, branded, she's got templates you can choose from out there.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Scott
I do
Leroy
know where
probably
the
has some
referrals
templates.
page is in that,
Yeah.
that's not.
And maybe,
Is
I
that
I've never
Connect
looked in
or
designs on
Mike
demand, there might
W
be something there also.
Okay.
The referral form,
Well, there is a referral and a map that you can.
There was one thing I wanted to share with you guys. Oh, I wanted to share, okay, we're done with all this, but one thing I wanted to share when it comes to your money management. There's a course through Keller Williams called Profit Ability. Profit, capital A, ability, but all one word. And it was referenced in the material. I had never heard of it. I've never taken it, but I looked it up on KW Connect. And there is one being offered online in March. I think it's the 14th. But if you just go to KW Connect, you can Google profitability, but they had all kinds of resources on there. All kinds of things you could watch and listen to and learn about how to have a more profitable business.
Profitability.
Profitability. I thought that was really cool.
Profitability.
Are you in England? Okay, are those all
I feel
the?
like I'm getting grounded,
Grounded.
What do you mean?
like, cause I have felt like a tumbleweed, not knowing
Oh,
anything,
good.
so I'm getting like
Oh,
grounded.
grounded.
Then you like your
So,
trouble
and then you
ground.
can switch
I've been
to
time out.
or what the name of the
I
person.
feel like I got a different.
Like office.
Or somebody.
And then shows you.
Send help.
And then,
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch of
and
designs on.
then you can send designs. I would like to be your referral partner. They accept it or, you know.
I have an actual computer PC, so it looks like I'm gonna need to invest in it.
And that also in the United States.
Maybe.
Also.
Yeah,
Oh,
something that you can.
Moving from Seattle.
Was it, what you wrote me?
Although there's the, you can also use the computers in the tech room. But if you're like down here.
Let me call you in 5 minutes, okay?
Alright, so those are some.
Okay, thank you, bye.
Congratulations.
Mac.
That's awesome.
Yes, I do too. Farther I go
Good
out.
idea. Well, good. That's- I'm glad you kind of went around there, starting.
So you can.
Yeah.
Friends there.
Oh, yeah,
And
great
then,
friends that are back
now
in
that you,
Yeah.
they know that you're in real estate, they'll ask you questions. And they ask,
Because they may
hey,
have
do you
people,
know?
a lot of people moving back to the States.
And it, they could be moving in Florida, so you can also. Do not.
No, no,
You have to do that once. Yeah.
Facebook. do
Just have to do it once and send it to all the.
I like that.
Do not do that because everybody's.
Yeah, it gives you.
So
tips
I
to
would
follow.
do it in the internal page and ask this office first, they did.
You're welcome.
Everybody is good in.
Kevin Cloud, yeah,
Florida.
Yeah, yeah.
he's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, well,
You know.
we need to explore this and see, because we have a lot of friends still, obviously, we lived there for 8 years.
Mhm.
And then also,
That'd be
we know
awesome.
people, and a lot of people. can't live to the States for work.
If you're serious about it, you don't really.
It's not even,
Yeah. that's
yeah.
true.
Yep.
It's not necessarily Springfield, we're in Florida or New York.
And then
Alright.
you get connections, you
Yeah,
know, you
I'll
start
be
meeting
showing house
people.
tomorrow, so you'll see me,
And-
see you Friday probably.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, we have offices
That's great.
all over the world.
That works.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe I might need to.
And then I've got some meetings, so I just feel like a good time.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
Sunday, so I just.
Just make sure you
switched
talk when you're online, you don't know they're there.
I
It's like,
think his teacher.
you know, it's like, what are they doing?
Where are you coming from?
Like the 18th of February. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Similar as far as
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, it's a pretty area.
I love it.
I go kayaking out there a lot. on
Oh, yeah?
Lena, Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Camp Tomahawk.
Yeah, 18th.
The Y Bridge.
Oh, near the Y Bridge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I
It's on
think
the
it
other
changed,
side.
changed the name.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I don't remember. I could be wrong. There was like a floater place there, but I don't remember it being called Camp Tomahawk.
Mhm. It's a little, that Y Bridge one is like my last resort. It's a
Oh.
little shady.
Oh, I see.
The owners are, yeah, but once you get out onto the water, it's good, right?
That's.
About that, geez.
Wherever she wants them.
Maybe we should all.
Have a good day, lady. Good night.
Yeah, see you tomorrow. I hope to,
David, are
I
you
hope
coming to
to
the newsletter?
be instrumental in that.
Yeah.
What time, well, what time is it?
10 o'clock. That's exciting. I'm glad you
Yeah.
mentioned that.
Probably not.
That's the newsletter.
Yeah, we're having a newsletter workshop tomorrow.
Here.
Yeah, I don't,
Am I gonna
I
go
don't
yet or
know
not?
how open it is to everybody. I got the invite from Shannon as part of the coaching.
Okay.
So I.
The more the merrier,
Is that how that works?
She might be a
Newsletter
partner.
workshop
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
At 10.
especially with China, the more the merrier.
Okay. good enough.
Yeah.
It's 10 o'clock tomorrow?
Alright. I'm
Yes.
interested in learning about that, so.
I should.
I'm going to because newsletters are one of the things I want to do, pretty sure.
I've been doing newsletters for 20 years. but-
Exactly, so it's right in your wheelhouse.
Different, that was effectively what they are.
But still, if it's in your wheelhouse and learn how to do it for
Maybe,
real
or
team,
maybe
and then
the
your learning
resources.
curve is
Yeah.
minimal,
Maybe you're the expert for the rest of us.
right? Oh, Hope, you're here.
Yeah.
Hi.
I had coffee with a lender this morning. It turned into one.
Oh, yeah?
Forever apparently.
Get on the phone.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go anytime, so I might be in Hawaii right now.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Take care, David.
Yeah.
He opened this energy.
Yep, that's what I'm hearing.
Take care.
It's gonna be different. You have a good evening. We'll get.
Hey, do you make any
back together
connections?
tomorrow.
Got my 10 cards out. I made a couple of phone calls.
You wrote the 10 cards already?
Yeah.
My gosh. You're a working machine.
Gotta put food on the table, you know? See y'all later.
Hey,
Bye.
Bonnie. You take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's frustrating, isn't it?
I've got the one that I invited you Sunday, I'm doing the same one.
Okay.
Because I'm getting different price ones.
Did you?
Yeah, I have 3 of them.
Well, the snow started.
Yeah.
And it didn't stop.
Nope.
And I'm out in the country, and I just was really glad I had an all of it.
Oh, yeah, I was surprised I
What
got
neighborhood
anybody.
Were you in on Sunday?
I'm in Wildwood. Emily, I can't remember her last name, it's really hard to pronounce, but it's her listing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm doing that one
Here I
on
am.
Sunday, I haven't.
Where's the people that were kicking us out at 3?
Oh, were they?
They were supposed, yeah.
Maybe
why
they
we had
didn't
to-
have their meeting today. I don't know, are you still recording, by the way?
Yeah. Okay. Great.